And that is from the new Blackmores Night Winter Carols CD, which was very courteously sent to us from the people at Eagle Vision. Blackmores Night, of course, anybody who's listened to the show at any point in the... Well, I think I only raved about it once, but if you know me, you know that I'm a big fan of Blackmores Night, because it's that whole kind of Renaissance rock thing that nobody else does. But they're really cool, and they have a new holiday album out. It's all kinds of Christmas carols and great, sort of winter songs done in their very unique Renaissance rock way. So... good stuff. Check that out. That is Blackmore's Night Winter Carols. And Tim, this is our holiday show.
Yeah, we've got Christmas all over the room here.
Christmas. We used to do some other stuff too. To have a few Hanukkah titles and things like that. And Mark got to sort of be Jewish for a minute or two on the show. And all the companies that there are a number of companies out there that do specifically Jewish titles. And they haven't released anything Hanukkah related in quite a while. I don't really know why, but
I think about that Adam Sandler
oh,
song.
that was so terrible.
That was just, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, nope, nothing Kwanzaa. I don't think there are any Kwanzaa songs.
Not
so
really.
You're good with me.
And
don't have to worry about it.
Diwali really never factors in. There's no Diwali movies. So whatever. But we've got a lot of stuff. So we have some giveaways. We have some tremendous gifts. I gotta be honest. We have some tremendous stuff to give away. This may be like the mother of all years for our giveaways. I'll be honest. It's kind of amazing, and I'm sort of jealous. So we've got giveaways, we got interviews, we got little segments, we got all kinds of fun stuff. So and all of this will also be in a great big old hyperlinked list on cinegods.com. So if you want to go find any of the stuff that we're talking about this week, the books, the other stuff, all these things, plus some other fun stuff, it's all going to be up there on cinegods.com, and a great big old holiday gift post with links that'll take you to all this fun stuff. So that being said, we have I'm going to start off with anime just because. It'll the people who love anime are a very particular group. Don't want to make them wait, so we're gonna jump right into the really cool box set anime titles. Funimation has Funimation does this right, and they really do a lot of great stuff. But I'm gonna do the first two that I'm gonna do. Well, the first one is not a Funimation title; it's a Shout title. And it's called In This Corner of the World from director Sunao Katabuchi. And this is based on, like as many of them are, on a manga, but it is this has a completely different look and style. This is like storybook style. I mean, it's still anime. It still looks like anime, but it's a more gentle, hand-drawn look. It's very storybook-like, and it's so sweet. And it kind of goes in there with Grave of the Fireflies for me. It's in that same kind of vein. It is just absolutely beautiful. It's about a young girl from Hiroshima.
Set during World War II.
Yes, exactly. Who she is set to be. This is before Hiroshima is bombed, and she's supposed to be married very, very soon. And World War II is raging, and it's just such a beautiful story, and it's so tender, it's so sensitive, it's so just vitally important to see. It's an absolutely beautiful film. I cannot recommend this highly enough. It's called In This Corner of the World. Comes with Blu-ray, DVD, and a digital download. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. So definitely check that out. Whether you're an anime fan or not, I think even people who don't love anime will find all kinds of things to really love in that movie. And then there is, from Funimation, a Blu-ray DVD combo set of the movie that won, I believe, our animation award last year, Your Name.
Oh, yeah.
We gave that to Your Name, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I remember it came down because there were a couple of anime films in the
A couple of
running.
big ones, and
like the Red Fox was...
but that one turned out to be... It is an extraordinary movie.
It's amazing. It's just amazing. So this is a Blu-ray DVD combo set from Funimation for Your Name, from the director Makoto Shinkai. And I was not familiar with him as a director before, but it's really fascinating. I don't. It's not a body switching thing. It's like a Prince. It's almost like a sci-fi version of Prince and the Pauper, wouldn't you say? People who switch lives.
Yeah. They switch lives, sort of completely teenage boy and girl.
Yeah.
It's just a perfectly lovely movie.
It's great. It's so good. And it's got some cool extras on here, too. There's an interview with the director and his filmography, and then there's a TV show that gives you a whole lot of kind of backstory on it as well, plus trailers. It's fantastic, Your Name. And then we get into the little more hardcore anime stuff for the routine people who are really, really into this stuff. We have 91 Days, the complete series, which is on, this is a special edition Blu-ray and DVD combo pack. This is basically like anime prohibition and mobsters. Is what it is, yeah. And it's the whole kind of culture splice of it, that you're watching a genre that is not an anime genre done anime style, is really kind of cool. It's really great animation. It is a beautiful box set. It's just nice slipcover. All these things have really, really nice packaging.
It's very film noir.
Very film noir, yeah. It's great shadowy drawing. It's good.
The
really
families
cool
all have these sort of quasi-Italian-esque names, which I think is interesting.
That's great. It's just, it splits the difference between, because Japanese gangster movies are one thing, anime is another thing, American mobster movies are another. Yeah. This is somewhere kind of between all that stuff. And then we also have Rosario and Vampire and Rosario and Vampire Capo 2, the complete series. This is a thing that I was not the least bit familiar with, but gorgeous multicolored vampire girls with multicolored hair. It's all kinds of really cool, and kind of this is the way that I think all the Twilight movies should have been.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just gorgeous vampire stuff and a lot of supernatural, convoluted storytelling, but it's still really kind of cool. And the animation is really cool. You'll dig it. So that is Rosario plus Vampire Capo 2. Never before been on Blu-ray. And then we've also got Myriad Colors Phantom World, which is more schoolgirl stuff, but this is just, I want to make mention of it because it's just such a gorgeous box set. It's just really nicely put together. This is an action-adventure series with just cute schoolgirls, and they have special abilities, let's just say. Kind of, superhero-ish, a little bit X-Men-y. It's cool. So if you like schoolgirls with powers, you'll dig it.
I love schoolgirls with power.
And we've got just a few more here. This one is from Viz, the people at Viz, another big anime house. This is One Punch Man.
I love that series.
It's a great show, One Punch Man. From the Anti-Disaster Measures Hero Association, which has a great big seal on the back of this thing. Look, he's One Punch Man. That tells you everything you need to know. It's also based on a manga. Seriously, how do I even explain this? He's one punch. That's it. That's all you need to know. Title tells you everything. It's based on a manga as well. You get a 96-page full-color booklet. This has 6 OVAs on it. The stuff that is not ever shown on television. But here's what makes this really cool: the packaging. I love this packaging. It comes with kind of a double sleeve. It's a slip cover. And the disc and the booklet are in the slip cover, and then the slip cover has to have a plastic case on it because he's literally punched a hole in the slipcover. Isn't that great? It's fantastic. He's One Punch Man. He punched a hole in the slipcover. You see this on a store shelf, you're gonna buy it. You know what it's about. He's so badass. He's punching a hole in the packaging. It's fantastic.
Love it.
More school kid stuff, more high school stuff, kids in uniforms. This is Orange, the complete series. Orange is really, really well animated. It's pretty darn well written too. It's again, more supernatural stuff, and it's really a fascinating mystery that precipitates this thing, where this one student receives a letter from herself in the future, and there's a warning with it, and that's one of these amazing kind of Lost Highway Lynchian twists that just sort of precipitates a fascinating series of events. It's really, really interesting. It's very, very good. Beautifully put together. One of the most interesting shifts in Japanese animation I think I've ever seen. So that's definitely worth checking out. That is Orange, the complete series. And then we have Space Dandy, which is just complete and total madness. This is a Blu-ray. It is the Space Dandy, the complete series. This is just totally unhinged. Blu-ray and DVD combo pack. You know, it's I'm mentioning this just because it's unhinged. It's crazy. This is like heavy metal crossed with gee whiz, I don't know, Star Blazers meets heavy metal meets Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know. That's maybe the only way I can put this. It's just totally out of control. And it's kind of cool. You don't really need to understand what's going on here. It doesn't matter what Space Dandy and his whole Elvis-y vibe is doing or what he's looking for. You know, he's basically like what's his face in Guardians of the Galaxy. Just go with the ride, man. Chris Pratt. Just go with the ride. It's just he's going off into space. He's looking for aliens. Go along for the ride. You will love it. One of the more beautiful box sets packages is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which comes with a 168-page booklet and 9 art cards. This is set number 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which includes Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency arcs. Don't bother even trying to figure out what that means. You will understand once you know if you're a fan of the show, that immediately means something to you. This is incredible artwork. It's really intense, clearly done by people who are using all kinds of very strange substances. Viz Media also released this. It is a gorgeous box set, really, really great. It is not something I was ever familiar with before, but it is also very kind of Guardians of the Galaxy-like, but it's really, really intense. It's probably more like...
It's about these brothers, and they have a company, and one of them's trying to... They're stepbrothers. One of them's trying to take control of the company from the other one, and it's all
I mean, there's a whole aristocratic soap opera going on, and then that wraps up with some supernatural stuff.
Vampires.
And then there's artifacts and a thing that shows up in Mexico, and it's a little bit like Indiana Jones meets Guardians of the Galaxy.
But it looks cool. It looks really cool.
So cool looking, unbelievable. What the artwork, the work they put into the artwork for these things blows my mind. And then let's see, got 2 more here. We have Relife season 1. That's RELIFE, as in doing life all over again. 13 episodes, really terrifically cool box set from Funimation. And this again is dealing with this is again a youth thing. It's about a guy. He's not a student. He's just a young kid trying to make his go, and he just cannot get his life going. He's still living with his parents, and he just can't get out of the basement thing. And then you know what? Takes a pill.
I used to watch those.
It's always a pill, right?
On Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Those with my little, my cousin Nandi. Girl. I would watch those with her on Crunchyroll. Yeah.
Crunchyroll. Anyway, so the pill does kind of a big thing. Well, it's not big. It's more like a Groundhog Day deal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a Groundhog Day pill. In any case, he gets to. And there are other movies that sort of do a little bit of this, but he gets to sort of relive his mistakes and see if he can make his life better again. There's also a Kieslowski film that kind of touches on this, like where you see a person's life in different forks.
Yeah.
Had the choice been different, it's really fascinating. But anyway, 13 episodes, very interesting show. Hope it goes into some other cool directions in the future. And then lastly, we have Servamp, episodes 1 through 12. Servamp, also another cool Blu-ray box set, nice slipcover, funky animation. Not necessarily my favorite of all of these, but I know this is more vampire stuff. It's like, Servamp is a servant vampire. That's what the name means. So it's more Japanese anime vampire stuff, nicely animated. Can't say I really understand the story. It doesn't really. It feels a little contrived and kind of precious to me. But anyway, some people really, really love this thing. It's got a big following. So if you know some anime fans, This is Cause for Celebration, Servamp, episodes 1 through 12, set number 1. From the good people at Funimation. That will be a lovely thing to show up in a stocking for any anime fan. That is our anime haul for the holidays. Those are all great choices for the anime fan.
Making some kids happy when they crack open the presents on the old tree. Anime fans of anime.
Any of those will light them up.
Shall we move into some...
Let's move into movies.
Move into a little bit of old stuff here. I got a couple of box sets that you handed me. Romy Schneider, when she was a little girl, or a teenager, Romy Schneider started her career by starring in these films. This is the Romy Schneider, the Sissy collection, where she played the Empress Elizabeth of Austria.
Sweet.
And I think it was like 3, maybe 4, but I think maybe 3 movies that she did that in. So this is a collection of those films. This is a lovely, lovely box, I must say, of Blu-rays that includes a whole lot of bonus stuff on the DVD, behind the scenes stuff, a 20-page booklet. It's just a lovely box. Look, Romy Schneider at like 17.
For sure.
Just forget about it.
I know.
Just forget about it. That's absolutely fantastic. So that's a Romy Schneider there. And then from Icarus, we have 8 films by Jean Rouch.
And you know what's interesting about this? These 8 films were originally going to be released all individually. Because some of them are shorter. I think the first 2 are shorter, and then the rest are all features. And they just went for broke. And
this is 4 discs.
Yeah.
Here. The thing about the thing about that is, Jean.
Yeah.
When we think about the new wave and all that kind of stuff, we always think about Godard. We think about Truffaut. We think about Rivette. All those people. Yeah. Jean, he's the reason why those guys made movies.
Yeah.
He influenced all of them.
Yeah.
But we don't think because he's a little bit older than they are.
The new wave basically launches in '59 with 400 Blows and Breathless by Godard. Those are kind of the first 2 that really hit. And Jean Rouch was really kind of hitting it hard already in the early 50s.
Oh, yeah.
And went all the way through. I mean, I think it was Mammy Water was his first big thing, like 1956, which is on here.
Yeah.
And then The Mad Masters, 1956, and then Noir. And then he has some really great features like The Lion Hunters and Jaguar, Little by Little, some really interesting movies. And then there's a documentary on here. This is really good.
Yeah, so that's if you want to know something about the new wave, I always think you need to start a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And so there's that. That's 8 films by Jean Rouch, and then I have this one over here, a Cohen film from Cohen Media Group. You do a lot of work for them. We've done work for Cohen, and this is just a wonderful, wonderful doc that I had a chance to talk about on the show when it was in theaters. Bertrand Tavernier's film, My Journey Through French Cinema, which is mostly him sitting there talking, and then wonderful, wonderful footage, black and white footage mostly, from all of these wonderful films. Most of these films, though, are the sort of pre-New Wave films that would have been, because Tavernier, he worked for Renoir.
Yeah.
He was an assistant. He worked for
he was assistant director for tons of those guys.
Melville. He was assistant director for Melville. So he was actually shaped by that group of French directors that preceded the New Wave directors. And he precedes the New Wave directors.
I love Tavernier.
It's just,
And what's funny about that, I met Tavernier years ago at a Colcoa event here in LA. And before I was really, kind of a regular part of Colcoa. And what's amazing about him is he just loves talking about movies.
Oh yeah,
like you meet him,
and evidence.
You can see it. I mean, how long is that thing? That thing's like 12 hours long, right?
It's 192 minutes.
That's just a lot of French cinema. Yeah. And you meet him and you go, "Oh, Mr. Tavernier, it's lovely to meet you. I love your movies." He goes, "Let me tell you about movies. The first movie I ever saw," and he will just go for like 45 minutes talking about movies.
Yeah,
there's no end to it. It's fascinating. He genuinely loves what he does. It's just so refreshing.
And this is a really really great DVD. And there's an interview with him and a couple of experts on here, as well as the film itself. 192 minutes long, French with English subtitles. Absolutely spectacular. So definitely check that one out.
And we also want to recommend something that we reviewed some months ago, but it is a great box set to include certainly for the holiday season. Flicker Alley's Early Women Filmmakers, an international anthology. especially now that we're focusing so much on the gender gap in Hollywood and how few women are actually directing and writing. It really is a great thing to sort of go back and revisit all of the silent era greats and those from the early sound era who were really so significant. And Flicker Alley they hit them all. Alice Guy Blaché, Lois Weber, Mabel Normand, Germaine Dulac, who did stuff in 1919, 1922, two of her films here.
Alice Guy was the first woman to actually have a studio in the United States of America. It was in Jersey. I think it was called Solax or something like that. But anyway, this little woman who worked for the Lumiere brothers.
Yep.
Who was there in 1895 when they filmed that train coming into the station. She was actually standing there. So anyway, we forget sometimes that women were right at the beginning of the founding of this industry. And frankly, there were a lot of women directors because it was before the men realized that, you know what, it's directing. That's where the power is.
Yeah.
And they would let the women direct, and they would let the women write the scenarios, as they were called at the time. And the men were doing the technical stuff.
You get a little bit of that in Their Finest, the movie Their Finest, which is hopefully going to make a comeback. We haven't gotten a screener for that yet.
No. And I hope people remember that.
Well, Alonso certainly is. And by the way, we're going to have a little tidbit from Alonso on this show again. Alonso is the expert in all things Christmas movies, so he joins us every Christmas season with that. But yeah, Alonso's really pushing for that, and I'm glad. So I hope that makes an appearance in the mailbox this week, because we only got 2 weeks left.
Yeah,
we got 2 weeks to see about 150 movies. It's ridiculous. But yeah, this thing also includes Lenny Riefenstahl's on here with Day of Freedom, Maya Deren, Meshes in the Afternoon. It's a great set. So definitely add that to the list as well. Early Women Filmmakers, an international anthology from Flicker Alley. Absolutely terrific.
Mystery Science Theater 3000 volume. What is that? XXX. What the hell?
Mark used to 39.
39.
Ridiculous. Mark loved these until he started hating them.
Put the one behind it. They're doing it again now. They're actually recasting. They're actually going to do it again. I watched them on television. These were always a whole lot of fun. This one, the movies that they're taking down includes Girls Town, The Amazing Transparent Man, Diabolique. Which is actually a pretty good movie. Why would they want to? Anyway, whatever. Yeah. And Satellite Dishes. I don't know that movie. What are you going to do? This is just something that if you love this kind of stuff, you have to have. This is 8 hours worth of programming here, and it's just absolutely beyond funny. Lots of bonus features on this stuff too. So what are you going to do? Master Science Theater 3000. Give it a go.
Yeah. You know what? If you happened on if you're a 4K early adopter, if you're really trying to fill up your 4K collection, and you went and picked up those last 4 Harry Potter movies on 4K, you've been sitting around saying, this is great, I've got the last 4 Harry Potter movies on 4K, but I don't have the first 4. I need the first 4. Where are the first 4? You know what? The first 4 are now out. So the first 4 Harry Potter movies...
Why the hell did they do that?
I don't know.
Why did they do
Probably
that?
Probably thought the last 4 would sell better in 4K because they were most recent.
And I suppose drive the desire for the first 4.
I suppose.
Okay, marketing is an evil undertaking.
It is. Harry Potter. So Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in 4K is still a bad movie. It's still terrible. Yeah. The original is not good. It's not a good film. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. Not a fan. Of the other 3. Here's the thing. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, I'm not such a fan of either, to be honest. I can take it or leave it. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, a little bit better. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, really good.
That's the first real drama.
That's the first one that really,
of all of those movies, that movie was a drama.
And it works largely because it has a real actor in it by the name of, I am soon going to win an Oscar for playing Winston Churchill, Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
That's, there it is.
Yeah, I'm still worried about Gary and all that makeup. That always worries me, dude.
The people I've talked to who've seen the film say you forget it within 10 seconds.
Is it? Okay.
It's Churchill.
Yeah.
That's Churchill.
I'm more of a, this is going way back, but
yeah.
What Anthony Hopkins did to achieve Nixon.
Right.
And he didn't put any putty nose on or anything. He combed his hair backwards and hunched his shoulders and got there.
Yeah.
But you got Willie Harrelson walking around playing LBJ in a bunch of with a bunch of stuff on his face too. So I don't know, but we shall see. Anyway, OSS 117, OSS 117, five film collection. So these movies.
Those are the original ones.
The original, which go back to the middle 50s.
Yeah.
I think is when the first one came out, and was then inspired to continue the series because of the release of the Bond movie. I think maybe Dr. No, probably.
Yep.
And then they come back, and then we go on again, and again, and they've been making these movies up till today. So anyway, this is 5 of those films from the collection. OSS 117 is Unleashed, 1963. Panic in Bangkok, 1964. Mission for a Killer, 1965. Mission in Tokyo, 1966. And Double Agent, 1968. 1968.
Yep.
French with English subtitles from Kino Lorber. Pretty cool.
It's very cool, and most people here know the 2 spoof versions of this with Jean Dujardin, which I'm quoted on the boxes of both of those. Thank goodness. That'll be my epitaph. But it's really interesting to watch the original ones because they're not bad. They're serious.
They're more Bondian than
definitely.
I think about movies like Matt Helm or Our Man Flint. More serious than all of that, the following in the footsteps of I like them a lot.
So Universal has done a thing. I'll leave it to you to decide whether or not this makes a lot of sense. So the Alfred Hitchcock Masterpiece Collection, which originally included Blu-rays of all of his all his Universal stuff, everything from Psycho to Vertigo, North by Northwest, which of course is not Universal. That's Warner Brothers, but that's popped in here along with everything else. Man Who Knew Too Much, Shadow of a Doubt, Torn Curtain, Topaz, Family Plot, all that stuff.
Yeah, late Alfred.
Yeah, all of that stuff mixed with North by Northwest. So that has been out for quite some time, and what they've done is they've basically taken that set and they've just sort of spruced it up a bit, added, it still has the same booklet, same collectible booklet in it, but then they've added 7 episodes from Alfred Hitchcock Presents and 3 episodes from the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, and otherwise it's all the same extras, and they've put it out and they're charging a little bit more for it. So anyway, that is now called the Alfred Hitchcock The Ultimate Collection. So if you already have Alfred Hitchcock The Masterpiece Collection, and you don't really need
the TV
shows on there, if that doesn't because they're not really directed by him. It's just additional content. Then you don't need to upgrade. But otherwise, Alfred Hitchcock The Ultimate Collection, 15 cool movies, along with 10 TV episodes and tons of bonus materials and a cool booklet. Still a really great thing to pick up. However, you can still pick up the Alfred Hitchcock Masterpiece Collection that doesn't have the TV stuff. So make your call. They're all out there, but the Ultimate Collection is the new version of it for this year. So
Transformers 5 movie collection. Well, man, who would have thought that Michael Bay in this series would survive? Switching from Shia LaBeouf to Mark Wahlberg, going through 5 or 6 years, and there they are. Still they go. What can I say about this series of movies? I've never liked them. Mm-hmm. The one charming thing about them when they first started was, to me, Shia, because he was kind of a kid running around these movies, and Bumblebee. And then as the series went on, it got more and more obnoxious and more frenetic and more kinetic and more out of control. And I don't know, whatever. I just never did cotton to this particular series of movies. In any case, Transformers: The Last Night. It comes with the bonus disc with over an hour's worth of special features on it. There's a whole lot of stuff here. And if you are in fact a fan of the series, you like all of these movies, you're gonna want to go ahead and grab Transformers, the 5 movie collection, and get you going on there. I also have this, and what's interesting is Justice League is in theaters now. Of course, the Justice League and
it's terrible.
This is I had to see it for the thing.
Oh, but I will say
I fell asleep the first time I saw it, so I had to see it again. By the way, I'll admit.
I will say this about it: as bad as it is, and if you haven't followed the mustache epic, Henry,
that crazy thing with his face.
And this is a spoiler: Superman comes back to life.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So Henry and by the way, it's not like they're even trying to hide that. You look at all the posters and they show you 5 heroes and 6 logos. Right? Have you seen the one?
You know
it's
what
absurd.
Yeah.
Like in Century City, they got the 5 of them up there: Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Flash, and they're all up there, and Cyborg, and they're all looking real badass. And they've got each one has a little logo, and then right in the middle is a Superman logo with no Superman.
So it's a loop. Anyway, this is a neat 10. This Blu-ray, Justice League: The New Frontier commemorative edition. It's really
Superman
really nice.
Superman has no mustache in the animated version.
Well, yeah, in the animated version, yeah.
He doesn't have one in the live action one too, because they took it out and his face looks like rubber. It's ridiculous.
There's this whole sequence, and it's just awful. And what I can't get is there's
bad.
some people who are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, were you not looking at the screen as his face was wiggling around?
It's the worst digital removal ever.
It was just really super bad. And what was it? He was doing what? Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Because he's doing Mission Impossible.
He was doing Mission Impossible.
And the shooting for the reshoots were delayed so that it overlapped with the schedule, and Paramount would not let him shave his mustache to do the Warner Brothers reshoots.
Yeah,
it's basically studio warfare.
Yeah,
and Paramount's laughing because they just made Justice League ridiculous.
Yeah, look, and it is ridiculous. It's kind of a burn for Henry though, because he didn't do anything. Anyway, lots of special features on this. And I don't know, if you don't want to go see that movie, check out this animation's Justice League New Frontier Commemorative Edition.
We got all kinds of Godfather action going on for you. The Godfather Trilogy Omerta edition is out. This is a limited edition. It is numbered, 45,000 only available. You can get this, and it's 4 discs, and it is all kinds of fun stuff. It includes not only all of the movies, but you get collectible trivia cards. You get a little anatomy of a scene thing. You get quote cards. It's big time, like nerd out. There's even this little magnetic thing in it which is kind of silly, but. You get great special features, all this behind the scenes featurette stuff, 4 short films on The Godfather. It's really, really terrific. If you didn't already get the other edition that's out, you would love to. You need to get this. It's done like a little booklet. It's really nice packaging. It's fantastic. Godfather Trilogy Omerta edition. Only 45,000 out there, and they are all numbered. And meanwhile, we've also talked about a couple of books in the past that you should, if you have a Godfather fan. There are 2 other books that they've got to get. If you've got a Godfather fan, do the triple, get them that box set, and then get them these 2 books: the annotated Godfather, the complete screenplay, which is sensational. It is just it's the complete screenplay with notes and backstory and photographs, full color photographs from the movies or from the original movie. And it's a wonderful, wonderful gift. And then the Big Mama. The Godfather Notebook by Francis Ford Coppola, which is everything you've ever wanted to know and a few things that you maybe didn't want to know about the movie. When did that book
come out originally? That book's been around a while, hasn't it?
About a year and a half.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And there's also an audiobook of this thing where Coppola reads excerpts of the book. He doesn't read them very well. I listened to it. It's kind of weird. He wrote it, and he's reading it like he's reading it.
It's a surprise.
Oh, this is interesting. I've never read this before. It's very strange. Should have done it off a teleprompter or something. Anyway, this is really cool. This is just a giant collection of photocopied stuff. Pages from the script, pages from the book, pages from notes. And you get some photographs here and there as well. It's fantastic. So between all of this, and the complete screenplay, the annotated Godfather, and the Godfather Notebook, and the Godfather Trilogy Omerta edition, if there's a Godfather fan who gets all 3 of those things on Christmas morning or for Hanukkah, my goodness, they are going to be happy, and they will love you for a lifetime.
Man, I have a couple of lovely beautiful Godfather. There's a black box with the gold. Writing. I have that set from, I don't know, almost 25 years ago now.
Wow,
maybe.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
It was a lovely set.
I was supposed to write a book about the restoration of the Godfather.
But they never couldn't pull off the...
Paramount.
Yeah.
Made me mad.
Which is, I don't know, Paramount is not long for this business. for a whole lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
The horror Horror Hall of Fame, 26 classic horror films. This is just neat right here. For one thing, it's inexpensive. You get 26 movies, Hammer horror films, a whole bunch of stuff. But these are all classic films. A lot of times when you see these sets, they'll go and dig up all the public domain, this, that, and the other things, and it'll be a bunch of wacky films, maybe one or two classic films, and then a bunch of wacky films that were wacky when they came out in 1952.
Yeah,
not this. This is nothing but money in terms of the films. You got The Bat, Before I Hang, The Black Room, The Boogeyman Will Get You. Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Die, My Darling. Just really, really great films. House on Haunted Hill. A lot of Vincent Price. You got a lot of Peter Cushing. You got a lot of Christopher Lee. And a whole lot more. So this is something that you definitely want to pick up. The Horror Hall of Fame, 26 classic horror films.
Super cool. So we also have Overdrive. Now, I'm mentioning Overdrive because the people at Paramount are being very nice, and they are going to give away 2 copies of Overdrive on Blu-ray with Scott Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's a very, very good-looking son, staggeringly good-looking son.
Yeah.
And
who the industry has decided they are going to make a movie star.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Whether we like it or not.
This is a Blu-ray and Movies Anywhere combo. It's the it still has the Ultraviolet logo on it, but it's Movies Anywhere. Soon, it's all going to be Movies Anywhere. This is still Ultraviolet for now because it's Paramount. But hang on to it. It'll be part of Movies Anywhere soon enough. So Overdrive with Scott Eastwood. Basically, it's a Fast and the Furious kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what it's going for. It's fast cars and hot women and Scott Eastwood.
I'll give it this. That movie. I've talked about that movie on the radio show. Insane amount of production value. The cars and all that stuff. It's part Fast and Furious, and what was that? The Italian Job,
right?
But F. Gary's The Italian Job, not the
exactly. Yeah,
which of course was just a remake of
not the one with Benny Hill. Yeah. So anyway, so the movie is Overdrive. 2 copies from Paramount. Send us an email. All of these giveaways. Send us an email to gods@digigods.com and include your name and address in the body of the email. And for this, put Scott, S-C-O-T-T. Just put Scott in the subject line, and that will filter it out for us, so we can pick a random winner. We're going to be picking the winners weekend after Black Friday.
Yeah.
So do all your shopping Black Friday. If you don't get what you want, or if you don't, you're frustrated, you still have the rest of the weekend all the way through Sunday to get us your emails. And enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday, the Thanksgiving weekend, and Sunday night come around, you can still send us an email, and we will pick the winners Monday after Thanksgiving. And then Tim, we got
a lot of Agatha Christie.
A lot of Agatha Christie, and we got giveaways for this too.
I can grab the Murder on the Orient Express just because the movie's in theater right now. There's a whole lot of these movies. Obviously going all the way back going way back, but. 1984 film. This particular one, David Suchet, Jessica Chastain, Hugh Bonneville, Toby Jones, Barbara Hershey.
Yeah.
This was okay.
Yeah.
This is not.
Suchet made him change the ending. You know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not significantly changed, but I mean, he had them rewrite it to, and I'm trying not to give anything away, but he wanted Poirot to have a different moral dilemma than he actually has in the book. Mm-hmm. So it's different in this version because of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, but Brannett kind of changed it a little bit too.
I was going to say, you saw the film, the Brannett film.
Yeah, I reviewed it on CineGods. I reviewed it on the radio. And Nadim, who has been on this show before, he and I went to an event a few days ago where everybody was kind of schmoozing at the Chateau Marmont, and we wound up talking to Brannett for about 25 minutes.
Yeah,
and it was pretty cool. But my first question was like, Murder on the Nile, are we going to get it? And he just beamed. He was like, oh, it's so much better, isn't he? Because it's just dark and the brooding parts of human nature. And suddenly he was directing the damn thing right in front of me. It was actually quite funny.
Well, he acquitted himself well, I understand.
Did. Yes, he did. Very well.
So anyway, all of this is part of giveaways.
Yes. So Murder on the Orient Express, the Suchet version, as well as, this is all from Acorn. Best of Agatha Christie Volume 1 and Best of Agatha Christie Volume 2. So this is a set we're going to be giving away. This is how this is going to work. So we've got 2 copies of the Best of Agatha Christie Volume 1 and 2, which includes And Then There Were None, 5 Little Pigs, Death on the Nile, Witness for the Prosecution, 3-Act Tragedy, and Halloween Party. These 2 and Murder on the Orient Express. That's a 3 title set. We're going to give away 2 copies of all 3 of these. So, the Best of Agatha Christie Volume 1 and 2, plus Murder on the Orient Express. We're going to give away 2 of those, and it's the same deal. Go ahead and send us an email to gods@digigods.com. Put your name and address in the body of the email, and then in the subject line, put murder. So Scott for Overdrive, murder for these Agatha Christie sets. And you are going to... You know what? We're not even close to the best stuff that we're giving away. We're not even close.
You said it was going to be a big show.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be a huge show. So that being said, we're going to go into our first interview. I had a great idea for... Well, I have a lot of great ideas. But my ideas are oftentimes stupid too. So this is not a stupid idea. I thought what we would do for our interviews was talk to people from companies that are really kind of trying to reinvent the way that this business works, trying to reinvent streaming and distribution and what movies get made and what titles get made and DVD and Blu-ray and everything, and they're just innovative and interesting. And I thought, well, I don't know anybody who's been sort of more out on the forefront of that than the Asylum. And as it happens, David Latt, who is the CEO and co-founder of The Asylum, is a very old friend of mine. David was at Loyola Film School ages ago when I was at UCLA. Very enterprising guy. He already started a publication, a film magazine, when he was a film student, which I started writing for. And that was, the first business that he founded. So he's always been very entrepreneurial and enterprising. And The Asylum, of course, does the Sharknado stuff and, all the mockbusters. They were a really interesting company. So I had a chat with David and all about what they're doing at The Asylum. And here it is.
And usually when I do interviews for this show, it's somebody that I don't really know, and I have to speak to them in a very respectful way, but there is no such constraint right now. I am speaking to David Latt, who is co-founder and CEO of The Asylum, the people behind Sharknado and many other outstanding films and television shows. I've known David for 25 years.
That should require some respect. Something, right?
Yes. Well, David, this is I get to kind of let my hair down here. So I've known you forever, and it is I take a little bit of pride in all of your accomplishments, even though I had nothing to do with any of them. But it's been really great seeing how the Asylum has grown over the course of 20 years. You're 20 years old now. I mean, it's a mature company. And you're still rocking and doing all kinds of cool and fun things, and you're still on the cutting edge. So what is...
I will say, I want to say, though, that as far as, following my career and whatnot, I feel like we're like a doppelganger, but like evil and good, doppelgangers, because I could have never had, but it's like so cool. You've written books, you've done the film critic stuff. You're like this heady, intellectual, smart guy thinking I'm just doing like sharks in a tornado. I mean, so it's just complete opposite. So
yeah, flattery will get you everywhere. So after 20 years, you're a brand now, and that's the biggest trick I've always said in this business is to brand yourself so that people, like Disney or like Troma, whatever it is, people see the brand and they know what to expect, and that's the toughest thing to do. Companies come and go before they're able to do that. You've been able to do that. Is there a secret to it, or is it just persistence?
Blackmail works really well. I guess in this climate, because of all the harassment and stuff, we never made good enough films for us to have any harassment lawsuits. So we're going to probably have a longer stay than anybody else. Everyone's going to be gone. Who's left standing? It's like, The Asylum. Holy crap. No one harassed them. No.
Seriously, do you think it's just sticking to your knitting? Is that the trick?
There's definitely that, and there's also we're not very talented, so so you can only do what you do, and it's also we're a studio, and that's different than a production company. It's not like we're trying to write the next great thing and win all these awards and like become Wade Major. This is not our trajectory. We're a studio for hire in a lot of ways. So when we sell, we're selling to a buyer that says, oh, go make a black and white gay western about tadpoles, and that's what we go and make. So we're a little slutty that way because we kind of do it for the money, but we're also really passionate about trying to make the best that we can with the limited resources that we have. So it comes off sometimes a little bit clunky and cheap and whatnot. But I think anyone who watches an Asylum movie, you hopefully get the passion and the excitement and the entertainment value for it, because we all, at the end of the day, love making movies. And I think that comes through in every frame, except for the ones we hate.
But your self-deprecation is refreshing because, for example, last night I saw Justice League. And apart from the handful of people who felt like they had to cheer because otherwise they're just not fulfilling their obligation to those characters, nobody really enjoyed that. That was just 2 hours of passionless, wet, shiny-looking, uneventful and unenthusiastic superheroes, and there's no passion there. And I will take a low-budget exploitation film with passion any day, like Night of the Living Dead, or anything that Troma does, a Toxic Avenger or Sharknado, whatever it is. I'll take that any day over, $100 million film that nobody really wanted to make.
I get that, and I agree. I mean, now the studios are only going to make Justice League 3, 4, 5, and 6, and not the passion projects. That's never going to happen anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's. And I think that's why Wonder Woman actually did well. I think the passion and the excitement for that property shone through the actress, through the director, through everyone involved in that show. I think that's why the Star Wars films do really well, because everyone's so damn excited about being a part of this that Daniel Craig becomes a stormtrooper. It's like in the background, because you just want to be a part of that universe. But something that's just for the paycheck and something that's just like, let's just do it and we've done it before, it's tiresome. Now you're saying that to a guy that's about to start Sharknado 6. But, it's still fun.
What now? Say just for a second, how did the Sharknado phenomenon start? Because that's just one of those wonderful things. I mean, Corman, the fusion of unconventional ideas is kind of a Corman thing. Carnosaur comes to mind, right? Sure. Let's take or even Jaws was a thing, so let's do Piranha, to sort of go sideways from something else that's already in the culture. Where did Sharknado really come from?
Well, I'd love to say that we're just geniuses, and I will say that we're just geniuses. But the truth of the matter is we're not. Is that it actually came about because a number of years ago we had a dinner with our friends at Sci-Fi, and they've been always very supportive and really excited about what we do. And we had produced a number of films for them, and it's just a nice conversation. We're having dinner with friends, and they said, well, what are you doing? What's your next project? We said, well, we have something that we're developing for our Japanese buyers. It's basically it's called Sharkstorm. It's about this tornado that hits on the coast of LA, and it picks up all these sharks and dumps them on people, and everyone has to kind of fight sharks. And they said, oh my God, we've been trying to figure out a plot for a title that we've wanted to make for years called Sharknado. It was a title that was in one of our Leprechaun films, and we loved the title because it was just a throwaway thing. And look, if we greenlight this with your Sharkstorm, could we add our title to it? And we're like, yeah, sure, that's a sucky title. Not a problem. We'll just change it. And, at the end of the day, who cares? We get to do another film with Sci-Fi, which is always very exciting because our budgets go up quite a bit from what we're normally used to. There's a lot more attention to it, a lot more audience than just the 3 people that rented a DVD or a Blockbuster, which for the younger kids was a store that sold DVDs and videotape. Anyways, it's a whole long story. But, it was always very exciting to do that jump up and produce something for with Sci-Fi. and that's what Sharknado became. So that's kind of how it happened. It was really a this commingling of the network and the studio, which worked out really well for everybody.
And what I don't think you guys get enough credit for is, apart from the mockbusters and all of that other stuff, you do an amazing job of mining pop culture figures from yesteryear and casting them against type, or casting them in completely unusual, unexpected, just people showing up in movies, Mark Cuban, whoever else. They just it's really an amazing gift that you guys have, and don't be self-deprecating about that, because that's a very special thing to put those people into places where it's just going to light up an audience. That's a
but
real
how could
talent.
you say no when your casting director, in this case Gotti Montage, who wrote Sharknado 5, so he's doing double duty casting it, and goes, "Oh my God, I got Fabio. He wants to play the Pope." It's like, yeah, of course we want Fabio to play the Pope. Why wouldn't we want Fabio to play the Pope? So, a lot of those things come about, organically. They seek us out, or we seek them out. And yeah, we've had hundreds of cameos in the Sharknado, and then there's all this other ancillary, residual effects from the real world. So you have like Jimmy Kimmel talk about Sharknado, and Fallon and Conan and Barack Obama and Trump, and these. I remember the Today Show did a fake trailer for Sharknado, and it starred Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis and Cher and Robin Williams. That's how long ago that was. But it was amazing. So and I know I saw another parody that starred John Lithgow and David Hyde Pierce, and it's just everyone wants to be part of this particular brand and this franchise. Which so I'd love to. You don't want me to be self-deprecating, but I can't really take a lot of credit for it, because these people kind of put themselves out there and want to be a part of something that is fun, exciting, different, and destroys their career faster than everyone would. So,
but that gets to the branding thing again. When you're a brand, people seek you out. If you're not a brand, you have to seek them out. I mean, case in point, if it's a Disney film, people with kids, they will go and seek out the Disney film. If it's not, if it's
right.
the exact same film, but it doesn't have that Disney moniker on it, well, they're going to research it a little bit. And you've gotten to that, you've crossed that brand threshold, so now the people come to you.
Right, usually drunk, but yes, they seek us out, not in the most sober way, but and it's great, and you get to have a lot of stories around the bar about that Donald Trump wanted to be in Sharknado 3, and we had issues there, and just like these just bizarre conversations that have happened because of this particular gem of a series. So,
talk a little bit about what the next few years are going to bring. I mean, 20 years is enough to sort of really, now you got to have other goals. So where's the future going to go? What other areas are you going to expand into?
Porn, lots of porn. I see a future. Immersive VR, AR. Okay. This is one of those things of how do you stay alive. This is part of that, the answer to that question, which is that you get nimble and you kind of hopefully think quick enough so that technology doesn't pass you by and opportunities don't pass you by. We're probably a bit old and bloated, so we're a little bit slower. So all of our contemporaries are getting, deals over at YouTube and other web-based companies, where we're kind of going, no, DVDs are still around, which they aren't. Don't kid yourself. So I don't know. The short answer is I don't know, and I'm happy I don't know, because that kind of locks us into a trajectory that I think will get us into trouble, like real quickly, and we'll sink the ship. We've been very lucky. We've been very cautious about how we go and do future things. So, it may seem like a fly by the seat of your pants kind of company, but, we have about over 30 employees. They all get health and 401ks, and they all have families, and, been doing this for years and years and years. And I'm very, very proud of that. And it's partially because we don't go, hey, let's go make a $30 million movie, you know, and put it out there and test the market. We're just not that risky. We may have a slot machine for Sharknado, but we do not gamble in that way. So,
well, let me give you a little bit of trivia too. I've always compared you guys to AIP because I think you have you have the Arkoff Nicholson Corman thing going. You know, you've figured something out that you found a place in the marketplace and you're exploiting it extremely well. And AIP lasted for 26 years. So hang around 7 more years and you will have outdone Arkoff.
Oh, please, those guys, you know, they're sissies. I remember meeting Samuel Arkoff. I remember, you know, it's like all these guys, Corman and Arkoff and Larry Cohen and, you know, all of them. It's just like, and to even think that I was in that same league, you know, here I am at my age, it's exciting. You know, Lloyd Kaufman over at Troma. And, I mean, I feel like even though I've invited myself to the dinner, you know, event, I feel very excited about being there, even though I crashed.
Well, it's you know, they crashed it too, so that's sort of keeping the tradition.
And if I stay alive for another 40 years, I can get an Academy Award. You know, Corman could, right? So exactly. I just need to stay alive long enough. And they have to lower their standards enough. You know, so we'll see what happens there.
You know what? Does Harvey raise the standards now? Letting go of Harvey raises the standards. So I think yeah. Well, let's wrap out. Let me ask you just a real serious question then about you know what the landscape is as far as streaming and you know OTT and everything else. Everything seems to be fragmenting, and you hinted at this a little bit that you've got to be agile enough to sort of keep up with these changes. Are Netflix and Amazon, are they changing not just the business model but the content that is being created as well? Is there a pressure on the kind of content that you create?
That's a great question. We've sold some films after the fact, and so we haven't really created something for them yet. And so when that happens, you know, we've been in conversations. We're talking about doing series with them and whatnot, but they haven't really looked under the hood yet, or we haven't, about, you know, what we can or cannot do. You know, Sci-Fi was so involved. When we do shows for Lifetime, they're involved. We're doing something for Hallmark. They're going to be really involved. So I think it's just kind of par for the course, however involved. But I don't know really the answer to that question yet. You know, ask me in a year. Hopefully I'll be able to be an expert in that regards.
Now, would you I'm going to put you on the spot here just for a second. If you had to pick a favorite of any of the Asylum films, is there one?
Justice League. All right.
Is there one that is closest and nearest and dearest, or are they all kind of misbegotten black sheep children?
No, like my kids, I do have a favorite, and I let them know on a daily basis. So I don't mind. You know, the question. I will say this. To be fair about answering this question, because I've been asked it before, it does change on a daily basis. So, you know, it depends on the mood, because we've done all genres and everything else. I mean, I could kind of pick a favorite film in the genre, but I think overall, you know, the one that was the most like, oh my God, I can't believe we made that. You know, it looked professional. It felt, you know, it just felt like out of body experience of how good it was a film we did for Lifetime called Love at a Christmas Table, which is not an exploitable film. It's not a genre film. It's a Christmas tale, which is not necessarily where my sensibilities lie, but it felt so different than what we had done before. So I don't know if it's necessarily better, but it definitely comes to mind first of like, wow, that was really a really exciting, interesting, wonderful event. And the film came out so well. It starred Danica McKellar and Thompson and my brain's going blank, but a whole bunch of people that just really elevated the show. And it's one of Lifetime's favorite shows too, which is nice. I mean, they really look at this film with a lot of respect, which is it's great. You know, so that comes to mind. And then of course there's everything else. So
Well, David, you guys do a great job. You have really you've set a great example, and I know you will laugh at that, but you really have. For a lot of people that I talk to, they really do look up to the company. They think you've set a great example for how to effectively and efficiently run a stable business during unstable times, and how to brand yourself and sort of establish yourself in the marketplace. And I think there's a great deal that people can learn from how the Asylum started and how it sort of maintained and grew its relevance. And you're doing a great job. So, on behalf of all of our listeners, I tip my hat to you, and it is a privilege to have known you for so long. And we'll sit down and have a longer conversation over lunch.
That we'll do lunch. I love it.
Yes,
that's perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
So, good company. Looking forward to another 20 years.
Yeah, Sharknadoes.
They've almost been around as long as AIP and Sam Arkoff.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. You took me by David's house. I think it was like maybe close to 15, 20 years ago.
His famous New Year's Day parties. Yeah.
We had a great time. Your cousin was here for that.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I remember that. Oh. Well, let's move on to we got another giveaway real quick.
Yeah,
The Villainous.
You got 3 of those. A fantastic series. About a trained assassin who was born, and she was a little girl. She started training. Her mentor gets killed, and she goes to work for the government. They tell her that work for us for 10 years, and then we'll let you go.
It's very Fum Nikita.
Yeah,
it's Fum Nikita stuff. It's basically basically Asian Fum Nikita stuff, with a little bit of a few other things thrown in. But the Villainous is really, really terrific. If you love Asian martial arts and action stuff, you're absolutely going to dig it. This is from Wellgo, and we're giving away 3 of these. And this also comes with an English language track and trailers and behind the scenes stuff. So the Villainous from Wellgo, great kind of Fum Nikita stuff. We're going to give away 3 of those. Again, send us an email, gods@digigods.com, and we're gonna ask you to put deadly in the subject line. Just put deadly. Yeah. DEADLY for the Villainous. We're gonna give away 3 copies of that. It's gonna be a blast. You're gonna have a great time. All right. We've got heaps and heaps of television right now. So let's boy. You know what? I'm gonna start off with something that we did talk about previously. It's one of the biggest box sets of the year. Here it is, Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, the complete series from Time Life.
I have been watching this on a daily basis for about a year and a half now. It comes on one of the broadcast stations. And I got to tell you, it's just fabulous. For one thing, watching all of the people who came through that show.
It's amazing, right?
George Slattery, of course, and it was on for a long time. And we remember, all the regulars, the Goldie Hawns and all that kind of stuff. But when you look at that show, Nixon came through that show.
Yep.
All kinds of political figures came through that show. But as well as though a lot of sophisticates came through that show.
Yeah.
You get your James Baldwins. Mm-hmm. It's just really, really a neat little archive of that time.
It is absolutely terrific. It is one of the best box sets. It's got everything. It's got it's got all kinds of collectible stuff in it. So the complete Laugh-In from Time Life is a huge, great gift item. Also going to recommend a few other things here real quickly. The Vietnam War from Ken Burns, great box set, best documentary of the season by far. And then we're also going to recommend something that a lot of people didn't even realize had not been out yet. South Park has been releasing seasons in Blu-ray for quite a while. But the first 11 seasons of South Park have not been on Blu-ray. The first 11 seasons are now on Blu-ray. So we have the first 5 right here. And then 6 through 11 are coming out in a couple of weeks. They sent us the first 5, season 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on Blu-ray from South Park. And you know what? Honestly, the animation is so good, and the look on Blu-ray is so good, it's almost live action. Wow. It almost looks like live action. All of the reason it looked bad before, I guess it was just because I was looking at it on a 1952 television.
Those little flat.
It's look, the animation is what it is. They throw these things together in a week and a half, and that's partly why it's so much fun. But it's still fun to see on Blu-ray. You still want to see the.
I can imagine the Blu-ray only makes it that much more saturated.
It kind of does. The color is better. Everything else is pretty much the same. But hey, if you've been getting this on Blu-ray for a while and you've been staring at those first 11 seasons on DVD and you're upset that you haven't been able to upgrade them, Problem solved.
You know what is funny, though? In the 20-plus years since the appearance of a thing called South Park, which I first experienced in an extremely degenerated copy on VHS. 1990, whatever it was, right? It was passing around. It was that Christmas thing. It was around this time of year.
Totally.
I was working over at UCLA doing whatever the heck I was doing, and everybody was passing around this VHS, and we would set up 2 VHS decks in the audio-visual lab, and we would basically just make copies of it all day long, getting worse and worse and worse all the time because you took this crackly sort of thing home and you put it in, and it was hysterically funny, I do admit. The rude, crude. You remember the whole thing.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I swear to you, I literally said out loud to my wife, it was like that. It was funny, but it was like maybe a 6-minute video and it was over, and who knew? Who knew? Oh well, whatever.
And then one other box set, and I'll turn it over to Tim. We got from Mill Creek. They threw 5 really cool miniseries, all kind of fantasy miniseries, together into a box set. And these have all been big sellers for Mill Creek over the years. It includes Tin Man with Zooey Deschanel, The 10th Kingdom, Odyssey, Merlin, and Gulliver's Travels, the Ted Danson Gulliver's Travels. So anyway, this is a 5 miniseries box set with all of those in it. Armand Desante, of course, is Odysseus in the Odyssey, and Sam Neill plays Merlin in Merlin. And Gulliver's Travels was a big thing on TV. That has Peter O'Toole and Omar Sharif in it, together again for the first time since Lawrence. And Tin Man was really, really cool, kind of a weird, shifty take on the Wizard of Oz. So with a little science fiction spin on it, and then the 10th Kingdom, which actually won an Emmy. So in any case, all 5 of these in a single box set's terrific. It's called the Epic Fantasy Collection, 5 miniseries gift set from Mill Creek. Pretty cool.
Fantastic. On Blu-ray from Shout Factory, Halo, the complete video collection. If you're a fan.
This is on. This is on Hulu. Was this on Hulu? What is it? I forget what this is on. This is on one of those channels that I never watched.
I watched it on Xbox, on the Xbox through the Sony or whatever it was. That network that comes through the Xbox. That's where I was. Anyway, this is a fantastic set that includes Halo Legends, Halo 4, Forward into Dawn, Halo Nightfall, Halo Fall. Look, if you're a gamer, you're going to love this stuff. If you're not a gamer, though, and you're wondering what that's been about, what your boyfriend and your husband and your whoever it is has been all deep into the sort of Halo universe, I can tell you, this is something you want to get a hold of. It will get you up to speed on what is going on in the Halo universe. Nice and fast there. All kinds of bonus features and bonus stuff and special features on this, commentary tracks, the making of it, this, that, and the other thing. Just everything you could possibly want for the Halo fan. Halo, the complete video collection from Shout Factory. Good stuff. They always do really great stuff there. Westworld.
We love Westworld because Sherman's on Westworld.
Yeah, our buddy Sherman, who is now working on the series Into the Badlands, which is shooting currently the second or third season, maybe third season.
Third season now.
Third season, in Dublin. There, he plays Nathaniel Moon on that show. On Westworld, he had a pretty good run. He played the sheriff on the show. It's pretty neat. Look, Westworld. For you and I, Westworld. When I think of Westworld, I'm sorry, my mind still goes to Michael Crichton and Yul Brynner and all of that. This was a very powerful series. It got way better toward the end of season 1 this season.
Yep.
That run of I would say maybe the last 4 or 5. 4 or 5 episodes was just so intense. And I have to give a shout out to Thandie Newton, who probably gave one of the best performances of anybody doing anything that had to do with acting of the year in this series. She was so daring, and there's a lot of naked in this thing.
That's true.
And she just really kills it. And talking about a female character, I mean, a lot of men in this movie, and some of the themes of this movie. Of this series, have the men who are playing cowboys doing some pretty vicious stuff. But something about the way Tandy plays that character, particularly once you've seen the series and you know where it goes, that offsets that rebalances that world, and re-enfranchises the women. Oddly, are actually the more powerful individuals. Whether they are real or not in this series. So anyway, Westworld season 1, The Maze, 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, looks fantastic.
Bunch of great comedy stuff on the TV end as well. So we've got 2 Bob Hope box sets here. Bob Hope never goes away.
No, he doesn't.
We have got Bob Hope, the Ultimate Movie Collection, which is 21 movies, as well as an American Masters documentary that is brand new. And this is all the stuff that Universal has released many times on DVD. But you didn't. It's now all kind of been. It's been separate discs before, and now it's all thrown together. And you get this great documentary, along with all the stuff that they had before, which is like the Ghost Breakers, Road to Zanzibar, Road to Morocco, Road to Utopia, Road to Singapore, Thanks for the Memory, The Pale Face. All these things have been out before. And then you also get Bob Hope and the Road to Success, Entertaining the Troops, Command Performances from 44 and 45, and Victory Caravan. So this is just enough Bob Hope to just completely put you over the edge. And then in addition to that, you can get Thanks for the Memories, a beautiful box set of all the Bob Hope specials. And this thing is like designed to be a gift. This is fantastic. Look at this big old beautiful heavy thing.
Gorgeous thing.
It's fantastic. So that's a beautiful one from Time Life. Thanks for the Memories, the Bob Hope specials, which, by the way, as bad as a lot of them were, I totally enjoy watching them again.
Oh, yes.
Because it's Bob Hope.
Yeah.
Like, even the bad joke, you laugh because it's Bob Hope.
And
what is that?
the time he's there, and he's always breaking the fourth wall, and so you can't go wrong.
He just the sketches are hysterically bad.
You can't go wrong
because he's always. It's true. He will do a sketch with somebody, and then he just looks to the audience.
It's like sorry about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Everybody Hates Chris. The complete series. Oddly, this series, which ran for 4 seasons, 88 episodes, it was not a series that I watched in real time when it was actually on. There were a few of these that I sort of missed. These really sort of interesting black family sitcoms. Bernie Mac had one. This one, which of course is about the life of a young Chris Rock when he was growing up in Brooklyn in the 80s. Him and his whole family and all that kind of
This show had a moment.
It had it was a very popular show, and for whatever reason, it just so it's funny to me, because we think about these shows, the Bill Cosby Show and all of that stuff, and what they mean now. There are a lot of these shows, frankly. I like this show. Everybody Hates Chris. I used to watch it in reruns later, and it's a really, really cute show. But none of them can hold a candle to anything that George Jefferson ever did in any show that he was ever in. Sherman Hemsley, in those All in the Family. Sherman Hemsley's Amen. Sherman Hemsley's Moving On Up. All of that. Fantastic. So anyway, so far as black family comedies go, I'm going with Sherman Hemsley's. But if you're a fan of Chris Rock, the complete series, Everybody Hates Chris, narrated by Chris Rock. I had forgotten that Chris's voice, is in every one of these episodes.
Yep,
because he's doing that narration.
Mm-hmm.
It's really sort of a neat thing. Anyway, neat thing.
And my parents hated the fact that I loved Red Skelton so much, but I don't care because I am still a fan. And the Red Skelton Hour in Color Deluxe Edition is a wonderful collection of stuff previously released from Mill Creek and Time Life, and all beautifully put together. 130 episodes on 22 DVDs, including 31 never-before-released color episodes. And the entire final season is in color. This also includes the early years from 1951 to 55, which were in black and white. Lots and lots of other stuff. Tons of guest stars on this thing. The Red Skelton Hour in color is just golden, and any fan of classic television they'll love this. I mean, Red Skelton, one of the funniest and most innovative men in the history of television. Really a great show. Hours and hours and hours it's like a drug, that show. And then we have a 10-disc set from Mill Creek. The Three Stooges, big box of Nyuks, Nyuks. This is 40, I love how they do this, Poifect hours, Poifect.
I watched an episode. You remember the late '60s Three Stooges cartoon? But they had a little live action sequences in there, and they were old and. Oh man, that was
It's great. So this is 40 hours of all kinds of stuff. It's films and shorts, and there are some cartoons in this as well. And there is also, and this is the real reason to get this. This is why you really, really want to get this. This has the 9-part documentary series Hey Mo, Hey Dad, which is so great. It's narrated by Mo's son. And it basically gives you it's almost more sentimental than anything else.
Yeah,
it's funny, but
it's very sentimental.
It's really, really sweet. So there are pilots and all kinds of other stuff here. So I mean, it's if you've been collecting the official shorts and you want a whole bunch of other unofficial stuff to sort of round it out to make to be a Three Stooges completist, the Three Stooges big box of Nyuks 10 discs is pretty great. Let's see, Tim. We've also got
the Strain. Did you watch this series? It's from Guillermo del Toro.
I watched as much as I needed to. Mark and I talked about this originally, and that thing sort of. You remember the billboard that caused all the controversy?
No, what was it?
Okay, so they had a billboard with a worm crawling out of somebody's eye or into somebody's eye, whatever it was.
I remember it into their mouth or something.
Yeah, it freaked out. It was sitting right at like La Brea and Pico or something, and it was so horrifying, and people complained, and LA finally asked that it be taken down. It was disrupting traffic.
That's right. It's about a viral outbreak that happens in New York City that creates a sort of vampirism sort of thing, but it's really just a virus, but you still got to drink blood. Classic Guillermo del Toro, I would say. He has a film. Shape of Water.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I did see it the other day.
What'd you think?
Yeah,
I feel the same way.
Yeah. It's like okay, that particular sensibility, that thing that he keeps doing, because it's in Labyrinth and it's in to a certain extent.
But here was my issue with it. It's incredibly well done. I mean, Sally Hawkins is wonderful, and I love the look and the design and the photography and the camera work. And it's just, his movies are just polished to the nth degree. I mean, he really knows how to do it. However, there are moments where he's doing a thing, and I know he gets off on it, but I have a problem with being yanked that way, which is he'll get very E.T. and kind of heartwarming-y, and I will sit there, and I'm going, oh. And then he does something that makes me go, oh. And it's like, don't do that.
And sometimes I just don't see how these spots belong in the same movie. That happens a couple of times in Pan's Labyrinth, too.
Yeah.
It was the one set, the Devil's Backbone.
It
happens a couple times there, too. I'm not a big fan of the Pacific Remy. Yeah. That's not so much my stuff. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The complete series. This is a gigantic and frankly kind of weighty box.
It's huge.
That you gave me here, celebrating the 20th year.
The complete series, the whole dang.
Well, first of all, I should say that I am a big fan of this series. I watched every episode of this series. There's some episodes of this series.
This made Joss Whedon.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was the movie first, of course, with I think Christy Swanson.
Yep.
It's Christy Swanson. And
that just came out too.
Which is very different than this series. Mm-hmm. The character Buffy and the way it's laid out, very different than this. But I had forgotten that he was a regular writer on Roseanne for like 8 years.
Yeah.
Writing those those Roseanne. I totally forgot about that. I don't know why. It just sort of like slipped my mind.
Yep.
And then Buffy and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, this is fantastic. Huge box. All kinds of special features, commentaries on just about every one of these discs. Of which there are 7 discs in this set. Look, if you're a fan of this, you're just going to want to have this thing. I frankly want to have this. So this is pretty good. Buffy, 20 years. Everything is 20 years ago.
I know, it's crazy. And then we also have, for the CSI fan, you think that was heavy, we have CSI Crime Scene Investigation, the complete series, and CSI Miami, the complete series. And each of these things is heavy enough to murder a loved one.
Yeah.
These are just enormous, absolutely enormous. 337 episodes on 93 discs, plus 19 hours of special features for the original CSI. Seriously? 93 discs, 337 episodes?
Wow.
if God bless you, if you know somebody who can consume this, lock them up in the basement, let them just go to town. It's crazy. Unbelievable. 15 seasons worth of this show, and it won. It won Emmys. It's a hit show, but my gosh, that's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of death.
And then you add CSI Miami, 10 seasons. Holy cow!
Of David Caruso taking his shades off.
Good, right? That's what it is, isn't it? It's the whole. That's. My goodness, but it's interesting because. He had, if you think about it, David Caruso did that one big career mistake, right? When he thought he was a movie star.
Yeah.
And he left NYPD, was it NYPD?
It was
NYPD Blue. That's right. He left NYPD Blue and then thought they went into Jade or something. Was it Jade?
John Dahl film with Ray Liotta.
Written by Joe Esterhaas.
Yeah.
And it tanked. And then he went running back to TV and had an even bigger career.
Yeah. Certainly made more money than they ever did,
Amazing.
David Caruso was in King of New York, Abel Ferrara film.
That's right.
He was outstanding. Him, the Wesley Snipes movie. He was just out. He's also in Mad Dog and Glory.
That's right.
And he was outstanding in that, which is what sort of catapulted his career. And then it just sort of, anyway.
And then I'm gonna wrap the TV out, and then we're gonna have another interview. I'm gonna wrap the TV out. And we're talking about classic TV comedy, and there are 4 sets here that are near and dear to my heart because I'm a goofball. And one of them is Mama's Family, the complete collection.
Get out of here, Clifton. He's
Anus?
Still he looks the same. Clifton.
Oh yeah.
No, wait. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm confusing. That's Mama's Family. That's Ken Berry.
Yes.
And all of those. I was thinking of That's My Mama for.
Oh no. Yeah.
Mama's Family. First of all, that was an extremely poignant and very funny.
Yes.
But also very poignant television series.
Very.
Mama Family.
Yeah.
They got into some really heavy stuff on that show, but it was always funny to be a character that came out of the Carol Burnett show. And it's just absolutely terrific. 22 DVDs, 130 episodes. It's absolutely terrific. The great Ken Berry.
6 seasons. Ken Berry, straight out of F Troop and Mayberry RFD. Ageless and funny, always great. So Mama's Family Complete Collection, that is the first one. And then we also have I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, the complete seasons, complete series. That's 139 episodes of Jeannie and 254 episodes of Bewitched, all on Mill Creek box sets. I want to emphasize that this is the only complete set of Jeannie that has the black and white season in it. The original release of this had them colorized. So this is the only complete series version on DVD that has the first season in original black and white. Crucial. Important to know that. All the original broadcast versions.
I joined the Air Force because of Major Healy and Major Nelson, and that's why I joined the Air Force. I watching I Dream of Jeannie. He was in the Air Force. He was an astronaut.
I would have done that
later,
too.
I joined the Air Force.
I would have done that too.
Slightly ridiculous, but I did it anyway.
And this might be my pick of the season, because Green Acres, they released 3 seasons back in 2004 and 2005. They released 3 seasons, and then they called it quits. And it's really, really upsetting. MGM Home Entertainment released the first 2, and then Sony Pictures Home Entertainment released the 3rd. And then they just kind of threw in the towel and said, nobody likes this show. And then for a solid decade plus, those of us who love this show have been saying, where are the last 3 seasons, man? Come on, get on the nut. Okay, here it is. Shout Factory, you are awesome. Shout Factory, who seems to always answer my dreams, they just went and said, seriously, come on, guys. This show has fans, and they've been waiting for a decade to get the other 3 seasons. Let's just do it. So here it is. Green Acres, the complete series, all 6 seasons, finally out on DVD. They even put a little sticker on this that says, perfect gift. Yeah, you're damn right it is.
That's Ava now, folks.
That's Ava Gabor, yes. Ava Gabor and Eddie Albert.
Ava went away in 95. Zsa only went away a couple of years ago. I used to shoot at Zsa. He had a big
Magda recently died, didn't she?
Oh, really?
I think it was Magda.
Oh,
maybe
the other.
I lose track of them. Yeah. But this was the idea behind this was very simple, which was, why don't we just take Beverly Hillbillies and turn it inside out?
Yeah.
Take the city people, put them in the country. Done. Yep. Easily done.
Yep.
Same concept.
Yep.
Upside down. Anyway, 170 episodes, 6 seasons, 24 DVDs. plus audio commentaries, radio shows. This is glorious. I am going to sit around after I eat on Christmas Day, and I am going to watch Green Acres for the rest of the day. I'm going to show it to my daughter. She will not understand it. My wife will probably divorce me. It's going to be worth it. Green Acres all day on Christmas. Telling you.
I love the way Green Acres and Petticoat Junction and all those shows were all like part of a theme of shows that were all connected and would fold over into each other.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, Petticoat Junction is it's basically a spin-off of that. Yeah. Okay, so here's some more giveaways, folks. Get your pens, get your pencils, get your paper. Here we go. This is going to blow your mind. Thanks for the Memories, the Bob Hope Special Deluxe Collection. We are giving away one copy. Send an email, gods@digigods.com, name and address in the body of the email, and in the subject line put HOPE. One copy of Thanks for the Memories, the Bob Hope Specials Deluxe Collection. We are also going to give away one copy of CMA Awards Live Greatest Moments, 1968 to 2015, from Time Life. CMA Awards Live Greatest Moments, 68 to 2015. We're going to give away one copy of that. Put CMA in the subject line. We're also going to give away The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, Johnny and Friends, the complete collection. Put Tonight in the subject line. And we are going to give away one copy of the Red Skelton Hour in Color Deluxe Collection that I just raved about. And you're going to put Red in the subject line. So, and I'll go through this again at the end of the show. That is all there. And right now, we're going to go into another interview with, we've talked about on this show, we've raved a lot about MHZ Networks. They do all the foreign television stuff. And I was able to talk with Lance Schwulst of MHZ about their incredibly unique business format. You know, they have a streaming network as well. And they go and they acquire all these amazing foreign language television shows from Italy and France and Sweden and Germany. And they hold a place in the marketplace that is totally unique. And here, without further ado, Lance Schwulst of MHZ.
I am speaking with Lance Schwulst, who is the VP of Content for MHZ Networks. And anyone who has listened to the podcast for any period of time knows that we try to scrupulously cover the releases of MHZ, which consist of amazing foreign language, for the most part, television series and movies and television productions that would otherwise never get exposed here. Lance, you have such an interesting business model. It seems like so many companies out there are chasing the same things, and you guys go out and chase different things. Talk just a little bit about where that all kind of came from and you know, what the guiding philosophy of the company is.
Well, I think that you're right. Everyone kind of chases the bright and the shiny, and I kind of like to go in and find the things that are a bit tarnished and then shine them up a bit. So, you know, when I go to MIPCOM, everyone is kind of hawking the same thing. I like to delve into the back catalog where we find some great gems. For instance, we have Maigret, the great detective created by George Simenon in adaptations that were made for French television in the early 90s, starring now deceased Bruno Cremer. It's been a huge success for us, and this is a series from the early 90s. So it's small little gems like that we like to unearth. And then also we just simply can't afford a lot of the same things that, you know, Sundance is going after, or Showtime, whomever. So we just try and find things that appeal to our audience. We know our audience really well, and we don't shy away from the quirky, and we don't shy away from the back catalog.
Now, you said you know your audience really well, and I think that's the thing that's most crucial for any company. One of the things that often frustrates us when we do the podcast is how little the major Hollywood studios seem to really understand their audience. And that's sort of inexcusable. And, you know, there's an art to understanding your audience and developing a relationship with an audience and kind of carving out that niche. Could you go into a little bit more detail as to how you sort of, like, who is the typical MHZ target audience?
Well, we're really lucky because we have a well-read, a well-traveled, highly intelligent, well-educated crowd that seems to have some disposable income at hand. It's a smart group of people who predominantly women. Just it skews a bit more towards women than men. And these are people who are voracious readers, and a lot of the crime fiction that we've had in the past are not entirely unknown quantities to the United States viewers, in that you can go into any Barnes & Noble and find Andrea Camilleri's novels of Detective Montalbano, or Donna Leone, who's an A-list American author who writes a series of Guido Brunetti mysteries.
Right.
These are all titles that are on the shelves, and then they pour through this crime fiction, then they find the international crime fiction, and then they find out that, wow, there are filmed adaptations of these.
Right.
So a lot of our audience stems from that, and then, it's just built over the years. And, our audience has come to expect what they expect, and then they're always pleasantly surprised when we kind of push the envelope a bit and bring in, something that they might not have already thought of. For instance, we brought in a German comedy a couple years ago called Crime Scene Cleaner, and it's been a huge success for us too. So who would have thunk a German comedy?
Right.
So,
I look at some of the things from your catalog, which they were just wonderful discoveries for me, like Nicolas Le Floch, which I was unaware of, and that was a great discovery. Detective Montalbano, which apparently has been going forever, was never on my radar as well. So these are all really, really fun discoveries, and I think that, at least from where I sit, that's what I think may partly drive it, is that once you discover one thing, it leads you to another, and eventually you begin to really trust the MHZ brand.
Well, that's good to hear. I think the thing that ties all of our properties together, I'd like to think at least, is that these are all very, and this is a function of having these long-running series like Montalbano and Nicolas Le Floch. It gives, you have these well-fleshed-out characters. They're highly developed. You get to know them really well. Our Montalbano audience they're crazy about him, and they know every little detail. They travel to Sicily to visit the locations where these episodes are filmed. It's really remarkable, the attachment that our audience forms with many of these characters.
Talk for a second, too, about the nature of streaming versus packaged media. This is a debate that goes on constantly, especially with our listeners. Is streaming going to displace it? Are they each going to occupy a different space in the marketplace? Are certain things better positioned for streaming and other things better positioned for collectors? And I don't think we really have firm answers to a lot of that yet. How do you guys? You do both. And you've obviously reinforced the streaming end of your offerings now. Could you talk a little bit about how you see the model and how it affects you?
Well, our DVD sales remain quite strong. They've dipped a bit, but I'm surprised and very pleased at how well they've endured throughout this time where they seem to be declining for a lot of people. I think the reason is that we're not everywhere. It's a specialty product, if you will. So these aren't things that you find in every shop, every place you go.
Right.
So they're sought after, and a lot of the country doesn't have us over the air, and a lot of the country doesn't necessarily have broadband, and they're not streaming. So we kind of filled that gap. And interestingly, we still sell a whole lot of DVD to Netflix. They're still a very big player in the DVD field. So, it is alive and well, not as well as it used to be, but it is alive and well. For us, the streaming is a component of the future. It's a subscription model on MHZ Choice for, I think it's $8 a month, $7.99 a month, and you have access to our complete library of 2,000 plus hours, and that's going really well. We've never had a week of negative growth, and we're quite pleased about that, and we continue to grow month over month over month. but it doesn't seem to be affecting the DVD sales as much as we thought. What I do find is that the streaming has greatly affected the TVOD sales, so the digital downloads that you might purchase off of iTunes or Amazon or our site for as well. But it just doesn't seem to have had as big of an effect on DVD as it has on the TVOD.
That's really, really interesting. And how does, MHZ Choice is available on just about every device. You're on Apple TV, you're on Roku, you can watch it on your Fire TV, Android, your phone. So do you find that people tend to watch more on one device than another, or is it pretty much all even across the board?
I think the one thing that I see in a lot of the customer feedback and inquiries that we get, it seems to me everyone is saying the same thing. Is how do I watch this on my TV? Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people still think of streaming that you have to sit in front of your PC or your Mac and watch it. But once, we do a lot of consumer education and exactly how you go about streaming it and having it appear on your big grand television set. And I think once people get past that, then it's an easier leap for them to subscribe and enjoy the subscription service. Anyway, so I guess I kind of lost my train of thought there.
Well, no, it's fine because what I was going for was that people consume different kinds of streaming media in different ways, and Apple TV is sort of preferred for some people, and Roku for certain other channels. Some people, for example, Filmstruck, when it launched, was on Apple TV but not on Roku. It took a moment to get on Roku, and I think it's still stronger on Apple TV because Apple viewers or Apple users seem to connect more with their content. But you guys seem to kind of cut across all demos. I mean, it seems to be more what you described earlier, the typical MHZ user being, which doesn't seem to be technologically specific. They're sort of more lifestyle specific.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Lance, thank you so much for speaking with us, and we wish you absolutely the best. You guys continue to just find all these great gems out there, and you've opened up a world of international production that I think was completely hidden to most Americans before, and it's been a real adventure of discovery, just seeing the stuff that you guys find and release, and we look forward to much more in the future. So on behalf of our listeners and us, we wish you the very, very best, and thank you so much for speaking with us.
And thank you. It's been a pleasure, and it's a huge labor of love here with everyone at MHZ. So
very good. Take care.
Be well. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Really, really awesome company, MHZ. Wishing them a really great Christmas. I honestly, and we're not mentioning any of the titles here because they have just so many titles and series, but definitely go and check them out and get something for the people who love foreign language television. It's great. We are now into our the tail end of the show, Christmas titles. And a whole bunch of Christmas animation. Let me just take you right through what's available on Christmas animation this season. Right at the top, this is a really special thing. They have put the Peanuts Holiday Collection Deluxe Edition out on 4K Ultra HD, which I never thought I would see. And you know what? HDR makes a total difference. These shows, it makes you appreciate how well animated these shows were. It's all hand-drawn animation. It's true to the comic strip, which is what is really beautiful. Is that it really has the Charles Schulz look. Yeah. And Charles Schulz is,
as opposed to that feature film, that Peanuts film.
Yeah, the CG animated thing.
All wrong right out of the box.
It just feels like the comic strip come to life. It's so good. And this, of course, is the three famous ones, the three that really stand the test of time: Charlie Brown Christmas, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, and It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. It's just absolutely beautiful how these things look. They remastered them. They completely gave them the big holiday makeover, and it is such a joy to have this. 4K is absolutely worth upgrading. Everything else on holiday animation, here's what we got. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is, you listen to some Mariah Carey Christmas songs, and then you watch this cute little CG animated story. And it's fine. It's it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're sort of waiting for the songs, but it's still, it's kind of hard to hate on anything that has Christmas theme. Once Upon a Sesame Street Christmas is just great for the kids. All the Sesame Street characters. You get the full-length feature of Sesame Street Christmas Carol, along with classic clips, 'Twas the Night Before Cookie and Elmo's Christmas Song, and then a downloadable storybook version of Once Upon a Sesame Street Christmas. It's really a really great collection of Sesame Street Christmas-themed things with, the Cookie Monster is just such a holiday spectacular. We went to a kid's birthday party recently that was all Paw Patrol themed. Little boy loves Paw Patrol. That's the best thing about having a kid, is going to kids' birthday parties. I'm going to detour for a second. There was a woman there that was doing a science demonstration. Like she combines things and makes smog and fog and weird. And the kids are loving all that chemical stuff. Freaked me out. I thought something was going to explode. And then to the point where she shoots off a rocket, I swear I thought we were all dead. Anyway, Paw Patrol, the great snow rescue. Of course, it's snow, so it's seasonal. And what they basically did, they took a whole bunch of episodes to sort of give it a bit of a Christmas theme. It's not really a Christmas release, but they're giving a good go of it. And if you love Paw Patrol, the kids won't care. If you have a kid that loves Paw Patrol, that's all he needs. Albert, Small Tree with a Big Dream, is from Nickelodeon. This is an original holiday animated show that is sort of, I guess, it's sort of the flip side of a Charlie Brown Christmas in some respect. That sick little tree. Well, this is about a little tiny tree that wants to become the most famous Christmas tree there ever was. And it's a little Pinocchio-like, and it's a little familiar in many respects. It's like a lot of those things, but it's good. I think kids will really, really enjoy it. PJ Masks skews a lot younger. My daughter's already far beyond this, so I can't really put this one in the queue. But PJ Masks, Hello Christmas, for really, really little kids, I think probably has some cachet, especially if they like little pint-sized superhero stories. Elena of Avalor, Celebrations to Remember. This is all engineered to be very, very sort of across the board, not just exclusively Christmas, but anything seasonal. And this has become a really huge franchise for Disney. She's kind of like, Elena is like part of the Princess Industrial Complex on television. There was first Sophia the First, and then there's Elena. And when you go to Disneyland, like we do often, there's just Elena stuff everywhere. Yeah. Happy Holidays, Garfield. This includes Garfield's Thanksgiving and Garfield Christmas Special. It's fine. Never that huge a fan of Garfield. I used to talk about loving Garfield basically to get on Mark's nerves, but now that Mark is in France, I can admit I'm really not that big a fan of Garfield. And then Mouse and Mole, A Christmas Time, is really, really sweet animation. Very, very cool. If you're not familiar with Mouse and Mole, it's just really classic, cool holiday animation. It's very warm and it's good. Check it out. 10 bonus stories also on this, and based on the book, by the way, based on the book. And then lastly here is Mickey Mouse, Merry and Scary. This is a great holiday collection of the new Mickey Mouse stories. There's a new Mickey Mouse animated thing on television that's a little bit kind of extreme. It's like taking the old classic Mickey Mouse look but putting him into sort of more extreme animation situations. A little bit, it's kind of like cross between classic Mickey Mouse and Ren and Stimpy, might be a good way to put it. Anyway, so you get The Scariest Story Ever, a Mickey Mouse Halloween Spooktacular, and Duck the Halls, a Mickey Mouse Christmas special, along with some bonus shorts, and kids will love it, especially boys, because it's manic and crazy and lots of fun. What else do we got, Tim?
Well, we got a little Christmas television cheer here from various different Christmas episodes from various different series over the years, right?
Nice.
So 8 episodes of your favorite Christmas episodes from Frasier. the Christmas episodes, which is really funny. I remember every single one of these, which is, Frasier is like that.
Yeah.
It's like Cheers. They're
totally.
There's simply episodes that are so funny, so well written that they lock into your mind. And in any case, this is just a fantastic little series. There are 8 episodes from Frasier. We've got the Honeymooners, of which there was only ever one Christmas episode. Twas the Night Before Christmas. It's a famous episode.
Yeah.
But they only did the one. So we've got that, plus another 5 different classic episodes of the Honeymooners. But Twas the Night Before Christmas is on this particular set right there. A very Brady Christmas, which is like,
Yeah.
The Bradys in maybe the early 90s, maybe the late 80s. Might have been the late 80s. No, it had to be the early 90s. Because you can tell because Greg had that sort of porn stash thing going with him. He looked like a stash. And plus they swapped out one of the characters. I don't think that's Eve Plum playing Jan or something like that. Anyway, in any case, the very Brady Christmas. What are you going to say? The clothes were bad, the hair is bad, the sweaters are bad, but they're still the Bradys.
Yeah.
So we'll check that out. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the Christmas episodes, 6 Christmas episodes, plus 1 bonus Christmas themed movie.
Nice.
Sabrina Goes Home. So all of that right there. For TV, pop it over to movies for just a moment. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Look, I was kind of, I only needed the one Home Alone movie. Right?
I hear you.
But whatever, if you're going to do one, do a Christmas. I did love... What I liked most about these movies was Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the kid was fine, Macaulay Culkin and all that kind of stuff, but they were, they were what made these movies. These movies, of course, the late John Hughes, a series of films, just fantastic stuff, kind of funny. In any case, not a whole lot on this, but there it is for you, George Seaton's Miracle on 34th Street.
Still one of the greatest Christmas movies ever.
Little
Natalie Wood. It just doesn't get better.
It's the one that I really like because I'm not a big fan of that Frank Capra film. I got issues with that.
Same here.
But whatever. Miracle on 34th Street is actually a perfectly lovely film. 70th 70 anniversary.
70 years.
Oh man, oh man, crazy. Oh man. Bing Crosby and Irving Berlin's Holiday Inn. This one's 75-year anniversary, by the way, just that much longer. Feature commentary, though, here from a historian, but also a commentary track from Fred Astaire is on this with Bing Crosby.
That's great.
So you got to get this just for that, if nothing, as well as some the equivalent of music videos.
Yeah.
The sort of singing and dancing sequences that they sort of break out.
Yeah.
So that's lovely there. Holiday Inn. From them, the Carol Burnett show, Carol's Lost Christmas Episodes. Again, fantastically beautiful. Carol Burnett, this show was on from 67 to 78, but it seems like it was on for longer than that. This show has been off the air for a very, very long time. I swear to you, I watched every single episode of this show, and it seemed like it was on for 20 years. It's only on for about 10 years.
Crazy.
Anyway, 6 Lost Christmas episodes here, along with a whole bunch of other interesting tidbits and whatnot. I love the Murdoch Mysteries series, Canadian television series set in the late 1890s.
It's great.
Sort of Victorian area.
Yeah.
It was all kinds of neat stuff. It's like watching CSI in like 1895 or something like that. Very, very clever. Anyway, Once Upon a Christmas, the Murdoch Mysteries. So a couple episodes of the Christmas series there, plus a bonus behind-the-scenes featurette that's 6 or 7 minutes long. So that's a lot of fun, too. The Last Days of Jesus from PBS. Did you see that series? I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's sort of looking at trying to take a historical look at the final days of Jesus and piecing together a story that probably is not biblical, but which seems to be more historical. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So that's as long as since it's Christmas and technically about Jesus, not Elmo, and so yeah, you might want to throw one of those in there. Also got a bunch of original Christmas movies here to make mention of real quickly. This one is Dove family approved. Saving Christmas with Ed Asner as Santa once again, as he was already in Elf.
Yeah.
And the idea here is that Santa's a squatter. It was okay, fine. It's sort of kind of funny, I guess. That's from the people at Grindstone, who usually do really, really bad Steven Seagal and Bruce Willis action movies. Yeah. But they make Christmas movies too, it seems. Cinderella Christmas it stars Emma Rigby and Peter Port, whoever they are, and this is from Monarch. Seriously, I don't know who they are, but Monarch does some really sweet stuff. I don't want to denigrate it too much. And effectively, it's basically a Christmas movie done, with merged with Cinderella, and it kind of works. Interesting idea. Surprised nobody else has done it before. Christmas with the Andersons. Starring Julie Brown, Christy Carlson Romano, and George Stultz, is just kind of a generic family Christmas movie with a little bit of mayhem and a lot of sweet Christmas cheer, and it's fine. That's also from Monarch. That it just needs something to pass the time, maybe play in the background during the Christmas party. Another one from Monarch is A Puppy for Christmas, which is just so absolutely cloying and saccharine, and yet, you know what? Damn that dog. You just can't help. It's the dog thing, it's just Christmas and dogs. I'm sorry. The dog gets to you. And then last, Married by Christmas. Which is a little bit silly, but it's Christmas, so I'll be a little forgiving as well. This is also from Monarch. This is about there's an executive who has to get married by Christmas, or she will basically lose her job. That's it. So I think we all can kind of fill in the blanks and how that goes. Yeah. And then look, if you hate Christmas, hey, I got stuff for you as well. If you really, really hate Christmas, just cannot stand Christmas. Here, you got 3 to choose from. The all-time classic Silent Night, Deadly Night. He knows when you've been naughty.
And will kill you.
Yeah, so this is director Charles Sellier's very, very popular Christmas horror film, which is kind of, it's a slasher film. That's what it is. This was very controversial at the time, not so much anymore. Linnea Quigley, who's sort of the all-time great scream queen, is in this. You get 2 versions here, the theatrical version and the unrated version. And why not? It's a great bit of 1980s Christmas sacrilegious gore. There's an audience for it. Then there's also Once Upon a Time at Christmas, the ultimate sleigh ride. S-L-A-Y.
Actually, that box looks pretty intense.
Yeah. This is this is a little bit more gruesome, actually, because it's more recent, and it has it's about a serial killer couple, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. It's a little bit tweaked. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody but people who really have a stern constitution. And then last one, Dee Wallace, who really was just, she was in E.T. and then she made a whole lot of schlocky stuff. Anyway, Dee Wallace is in Craig Anderson's Red Christmas. I love this tagline. The only thing under the tree is terror. It's too funny. So Dee, she basically finds herself,
Did she used to live around here?
See, she what?
Did she used to live around here someplace?
Oh, somewhere. Yeah. They all live around here somewhere.
I just used to see her there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so this is, they're all there. She thinks she's there with the family, going to have a nice Christmas in the house way out in the middle of nowhere, and then somebody shows up at the door. Oh, big mistake! Never answer the door on Christmas. They're not carolers. It's going to be this tweaky guy who just walked out of some kind of a sick movie. Anyway, it's it's a horror film, and it's all set during Christmas. And with that, we are going to go right into Alonso Duralde, our colleague with the LA Film Critics and of the Linoleum Knife podcast. Alonso is the expert at Christmas. He knows everything there is to know about Christmas movies. It's a tall order because he has to keep up every year and go and see the worst movies. But anyway, here is Alonso.
Hi, everyone. This is Alonso Duralde with my annual holiday moment for DigiGods. When I was writing my film guide, Have Yourself a Movie Little Christmas, one of the best parts was getting to discover older films that I'd never heard of before and maybe didn't know were part of the Christmas season. One of those movies, 1944's I'll Be Seeing You, has a brand new Blu-ray release from Kino Lorber, and if it's a film you've never seen before, you'll be pleasantly surprised by how fascinating it is. It's not exactly a noir film, but it does deal with such dark subject matter that you might not immediately peg it as a Christmas movie, but it is a tale of redemption set around the holidays. Ginger Rogers plays a woman who has been sent to prison for murdering her boss in self-defense when he tried to sexually assault her. She gets a furlough for the Christmas season and goes to visit family. On the train, she visits a soldier. On the train, she meets a soldier played by Joseph Cotten, who is seemingly yet another GI on his way home from World War II, but actually he's suffering from very severe PTSD, and in fact is deciding over this Christmas vacation whether or not he can function outside of psychiatric care. These two damaged souls meet, fall in love, and what happens next is up to them and the movie. Shirley Temple plays one of her first adult roles as Ginger Rogers' niece, who at first is very skittish about having to share a bedroom with a convict, but comes to grow into a more compassionate and loving relative as she gets to know Ginger Rogers. It's directed by William Dieterle, and again, this is a movie that is suffused with Christmas, and it is about the holiday spirit and the possibility of changing your life and making things better. But at the same time, it doesn't shy away from some very dark corners. If you think that all 1940s Hollywood movies were sort of aw shucks and innocent, this is a film that is not afraid to deal with a deeper subject matter. Anyway, it's a movie that I had never seen before writing the book, and it definitely has made an impact on me. And now there's this great new Blu-ray release. I hope that a lot more people get to see it. Find out about this and other films in my book, Have Yourself a Movie Little Christmas, now available from Amazon. Happy holidays.
All right, that's right. Have Yourself a Movie Little Christmas, terrific book, and I hope Alonso, like, one of these days he needs to do like a second edition of that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make mention of that.
Yeah,
really, really kick that thing up a notch and get some more sales. So anyway, thank you, Alonso. You're an essential part of this show. You're like the candy in our Christmas stocking. And we're gonna wrap the show out with some books, and then one more interview, and after that interview, the mother of all giveaways. We have one more giveaway. So here are some books. I'm going to go through these as quickly as I can because, you know, we're around the 2-hour mark right now. So we want to give you a real good run at what some books. Star Trek Technology, Treknology, T-R-E-K, Treknology, right? Star Trek Treknology, The Science of Star Trek from Tricorders to Warp Drive by Ethan Siegel. Ethan Siegel is a professor who has put together this amazing book that actually talks about sort of the real technology behind things in Star Trek and how it exists now and how it may exist in the future. This is a really cool book with lots of great photos from the TV show and from the movies. You gotta get this. I'm kind of blown away. I thought I was done collecting Star Trek books.
Yeah.
So Star Trek Treknology, good book. Also, by our good friend Charles Solomon, a LAFCA colleague. We have a couple of books that we also did mention. We interviewed him about these books on the show some weeks ago. Once Upon a Dream, from Perrault's Sleeping Beauty to Disney's Maleficent. This is a terrific coffee table book all about the history of Sleeping Beauty and any movie to do with Sleeping Beauty. And then Tale as Old as Time, The Art and Making of Beauty and the Beast, which is all about Beauty and the Beast, the animated film, all the way up to the new live-action film. Both absolutely sensational books.
Beautiful books. Just, you know,
so good.
Lush, great covers, great
Fantastic.
paper, you know, everything.
Yeah. Absolutely everything you need to know about the WWE. The Absolutely Everything You Need to Know book. I don't know if this is everything I need to know about wrestling, but it's got a lot of photographs of guys beating up guys and women beating up women, and you know, it's a lot of wrestling. That's all I can tell you. I know there are WWE fans out there. Knock yourselves out. There's some other really great movie books. King Vidor's The Crowd, The Making of a Silent Classic. This has a foreword by Kevin Brownlow, who, of course, wrote the David Lean biography that I'm so fond of. And if you've never seen The Crowd, the King Vidor film, you need to. It's one of the all-time great films. It has influenced so many movies made thereafter. And this is a terrific book from Pastimes Publishing on the making of The Crowd. We've also got Styling the Stars by Angela Cartwright and Tom McLaren. This is really extraordinary stuff, photographs taken from the 20th Century Fox archives. That it's all like costume tests and hair shots, and it lets you. It's really a cool collection of photographs that take you just behind the scenes of so many movies, and there's your actress from like here's Charmaine Carr from Sound of Music, just modeling a dress.
Yeah, beautiful photography though, black and white, gloss,
Look,
sort of gloss.
Audrey Hepburn from Two for the Road. Look at that dress.
Yeah,
just modeling her dress.
Yeah,
it's great. This is all stuff that was just sitting in archives, and it's never been published. And it's fantastic. And remember, all this stuff is going to be on cinegods.com. We're going to have a post that'll have all this stuff. Saul Bass, Anatomy of Film Design. This is by Jan Christopher Horak. And this is all about Saul Bass and
I used to work with Jan. I have that book.
It's great.
I think he handles the archive at UCLA.
Yeah. I think he still. Yeah, I think he does. Anyway, it's great. It's a tremendous look at. In fact, you introduced me to him at one point at a party.
Yeah.
So this is a terrific book all about Saul Bass and his legendary design career when there was no Photoshop. Right.
Yeah.
This is when you had to do it old school. This is from the George Eastman House. This is an amazing coffee table book. The Dawn of Technicolor, 1915 to 1935. This is one of those coffee table books that you leave on the coffee table because people will just look at it and over and over and over. This is everything you ever want to know about Technicolor in amazing photo reproductions that will just blow your mind. It is so beautiful, and you could just look at this thing for hours. Even bigger is Cecil B. DeMille, The Art of the Hollywood Epic.
Actually, physically bigger.
Physically bigger. This is a giant epic book about a guy who made giant epics. And everything you want to know about his films, all the way from the silent films, the silent Ten Commandments, to the full color Ten Commandments in 1956, and everything in between. And it's his Cleopatra. I mean, it's a spectacular book. This is really a spectacular book. The design, the concept, the production, the distribution, the marketing, everything is in here. It's a huge, awesome book. And if you haven't been to Disneyland lately, you need to go, because they took the Tower of Terror and turned it into a Guardians of the Galaxy attraction.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I can't handle how much fun it is. It really. So Guardians of the Galaxy is getting a whole new lease on life. Guardians of the Galaxy, creating Marvel's spacefaring superheroes, the complete comics history. Wonderful coffee table book that takes you right into the comic origins of Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a lot of fun because I was not that familiar with the comic Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's pretty darn close. It's amazing how close James Gunn has kept the stylings and the look of the movie. It hews very closely. So that's a really super cool book. And then the last few here, The Art of Ghost in the Shell, which people didn't like the movie, the live action movie.
Scarlett Johansson.
Fair enough.
No.
But if you did, it's a good book to get because there's some pretty great photography in there too. A couple more from Disney, which we also reviewed. Want to make sure we get these on your radar for the holiday season. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, The Search for the Lost Disney Cartoons. We interviewed David Bossert, the author of this as well. Make sure that's on your list. Oswald is where it all starts. That's the beginning of Disney. This is all about the lost cartoons. It's a great story. And then we also interviewed Mindy Johnson, who wrote Ink and Paint, The Women of Walt Disney's Animation, which is all about the amazing women who were so essential to the birth of Disney animation, the women who were part of that factory process and what they contributed artistically and everything else. It's a wonderful story. So many great people there. And then if you got kids, you're going to want to also pick up Catch My Breath, which is this is part of the Walt Disney Animation Studios Artist Showcase series. And this one is for artist Paul Briggs, who's a Disney animator, who got to kind of put his talents down to paper with this wonderful kids book called Catch My Breath. It's really, really sweet. Beautiful, beautiful drawings, and it's a great little It's a great little story as well. It's really, really sweet. And my daughter's going to get this read to her probably tonight. So with that, we are going to now go to our final interview with Michael Rosenberg of Film Movement. And if you've listened to us for any period of time, you know that we love the people at Film Movement and their Movie of the Month Club. They were original innovators in the DVD world, and they've continued to innovate and bring even better films out to market. And Michael Rosenberg's talked to us for a few minutes about what it is that makes Film Movement so unique and what their philosophy is. And when we come back from that, we're going to have one final giveaway, and then we are going to wish you very well and happy holidays and Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and everything else for at least a couple of weeks while we take a hiatus for our LAFCA grind and then vote on December 3rd.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll be back after December 3rd and get our action in order for a couple of weeks.
Movies to watch.
Oh, it's going to be it's intense. So anyway, here is Michael Rosenberg of Film Movement.
It is our enormous privilege to be speaking today with Michael Rosenberg, president of Film Movement, which is, as anyone who listens to the podcast on a regular basis knows, is one of our very favorite DVD and Blu-ray companies for a lot of reasons, mainly because they release movies that nobody else thinks to release. They get great titles. They have an amazing library. And a fascinating philosophy which predates you, Michael, but I wonder if you could just talk about the Movie of the Month Club concept and how that sort of helped build Film Movement.
Sure. First, before I do that, thank you for having me on the program. It's an honor to be here. So the company started 15 years ago. We're celebrating our 15th anniversary this year. The original founders had this idea of bringing films that you couldn't find to movie lovers that would have difficulty finding these kinds of films where they lived. And so they started this idea of the Film of the Month Club, where they would curate the best films that they could get from important film festivals around the world, like the Cannes Film Festival, Berlin, Venice, and so forth, and then release them each month exclusively to club members. And in addition, from the very beginning, also curate a short film to go with the feature film on the DVDs that were sent to club members. So this was the original idea. And although it didn't turn out to be the only thing that the company could do to survive, because in order to survive, the company had to expand and become a full-service film distributor that does everything that any distributor does with a film that they acquire, from putting it in theaters to selling it to television to selling it to Netflix. The Film of the Month Club has been a constant throughout the whole 15 years and continues still. And so each month we release a film that goes to our film club members before it's available on Amazon, on DVD, or in stores. And it's curated with a short film to go with it, often additional bonus material as well. And we still are generally acquiring these films from major film festivals, and most of them are award winners or at the very least critically acclaimed. And it's still something we continue.
And we should point out too that there's a great deal going on right now for with a 30% discount for subscriptions as well. So you guys have given a wonderful gift to anybody who wants to get in on that right now during the holiday season.
Yes, we always push our film club as a great gift for the holidays, because we think it is. Giving someone a gift where they get a new film on DVD every single month, it's a tangible gift. It's not an intangible gift. I mean, we also do offer streaming subscriptions as well. We offer subscriptions that have both membership that has both DVDs and streaming of our film library. But certainly, a DVD is a great physical gift still. And everybody has DVD players, so you can't go wrong giving somebody a gift like that who's a film lover.
Absolutely. And the one thing that has really been gratifying for me in particular is when you started the Film Movement Classics on Blu-ray, which immediately brought to Blu-ray a whole litany of films, the Kitano films, and Billy August, two Palme d'Or winners from the Cannes Film Festival, Pelle the Conqueror and The Best Intentions. The Best Intentions had never even been on DVD. And these are films that won the most prestigious festival in the world, and all of this stuff is now part of the Film Movement Library, which is just wonderful. How do you, Once for Warriors is another one. I mean, so many great films that I've seen over the years, and no one else was touching them, and you guys brought them out, and I thank you for that. So how do you position yourselves in the marketplace? You're obviously competing with companies that are affiliated oftentimes with the big studios, companies that might have more resources at their disposal, and somehow you always seem to get what you want when you want, and you're not sort of picking up anybody else's leftovers. You really have been able to brand yourselves as one of the preeminent companies in the business. So how do you position yourself in the marketplace to make that possible?
Well, thank you for the kind words about that. I mean, we started the Classics label because everybody here is a film lover, and we know there are great films that are out of print, and we wanted to bring those films back, or in some cases introduce them to the U.S. for the first time, which we've also done, and package them properly. Now, of course, anybody doing classic films, the elephant in the room is Criterion Collection. The Criterion Collection is nobody can compete with them. They're top notch. They take a lot of time to do what they do. They're a big company, and they have tremendous resources and tremendous relationships around the world and an incredible library. But that being said, they can't do everything. And so there are a number of companies that are able to find classic films that are still available and still need, or they're available to be reissued, but maybe they're not available here in North America anymore, and to bring them back. And so that's something we've really enjoyed doing. And we've done, we're basically doing two kinds of classic films. We're doing sort of the classic art house films, like the Billy August films you mentioned, the Pelle the Conqueror. Another Oscar winner that we have is Antonia's Line by Marlene Goris. We have films by Peter Greenaway. So that's one section. And then we've also been doing sort of more classic cult films and bringing things like Kamikaze 89, the last film that Fassbender starred in.
Right.
And the Kitano films you mentioned, Hanabi being the most recent one. And
Violent Cop, one of my favorites.
Point last year. And then Time to Die, which is an example of a sort of a cult film that was never released in the U.S. It never had a theatrical in the U.S. It was made in 1966, a classic Mexican Western with a script by Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Carlos Fuentes. So, that's another type of classic film that we like to do. And we have another Western coming next year, which we're very excited about, Sergio Corbucci's The Great Silence, which is an incredible Western with Klaus Kinski and Jean-Louis Trintignant. And anybody who's been following Quentin Tarantino knows that this is one of his all-time favorite Westerns. And so that also never released theatrically in the U.S., and we have a new 2K restoration we'll be bringing out next year.
Great. And you also released last year Thebe, which was tremendous, which is basically the Lawrence of Arabia story seen from the other side, which was so well received by critics, and it's a beautiful Blu-ray as well. And
that's the kind of a good example of a club film, because this is a film that had an award in Venice and had been overlooked by other distributors, and we were very happy to have it pointed out to us by the sales agent for the film. And when we saw the film, we said, "Oh, this is tremendous," and we grabbed it, and it turned out to be the first time that the company ever received an Oscar nomination. It was our first Oscar-nominated film, so we were really proud of that film. And that's just one of the films that club members get every month. This film like Thebe. So we were very happy about that one.
Talk for just a moment before we let you go about the way that you are changing and modifying and adapting the business model to sort of conform to all this rapidly changing world that we face now, where it's what was for a while DVD and Blu-ray is now getting fragmented, and there's streaming and there's downloading, and there There are OTT box platforms, and there just are so many more ways to see movies and collect movies than there have ever been before. But yet there's still a demand for DVDs and Blu-rays with collectors. So how is Film Movement finding its place in that new world?
Well, I mean, the company for a number of years has been trying to find every possible way we can get our films in front of people who want to see them. So we've been working in the digital space for a number of years, and so you can find our films on Amazon and iTunes. A lot of our films are on Netflix. We were an early partner for Netflix when they launched their streaming service. We were working with Hulu on some titles as well. We work with smaller players. We're working with Filmstruck, which is the Turner Classics and Criterion streaming service, and they've done a lot of our classics. But I think one of the things that we're finding is that there's still a lot of life left in the physical formats, and I think that people will increasingly need to reconsider if they've moved away from those formats, because as companies like Netflix have gotten bigger and bigger, they've also gotten more and more mainstream. And I think you'll find, and certainly they're telling us this, or people have been writing about this, that there are fewer films on Netflix than there used to be. And so I think that it won't necessarily be that easy to find films on all these streaming services. It's not like Spotify is for music, where you can find almost everything. It's never been like that, and I think it'll be increasingly more difficult to find things. It'll be more fragmented. So having films available on DVD and on Blu-ray is still going to be an important way for people to find a lot of these films. That being said, we sell to airlines, we sell to ships, we sell to hotels. We try to get films everywhere we can, and try to find all the ways we can make money with these films, because it's not so easy to do that. So, but so far we've been successful, and we plan to continue.
Well, you guys do a wonderful, wonderful job. We just recently raved about After Image, which was a film that you guys, gave a wonderful, wonderful release to, and that's out on Blu-ray as well. And the late Andrzej Wajda did an amazing his final film. It's really that's just an extraordinary film as well, and the CC collection. So you just keep amazing us, and we're so grateful you're there. You plug a vital space in the marketplace, and I think our listeners and our fans will definitely agree. So thank you so much for all the tremendous and wonderful work that you do, Michael Rosenberg of Film Movement. Please keep up the good work, and we will be there rooting for you.
Thank you very much, and we plan to do exactly that and bring a lot of great films in the coming years.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Film Movement, great company. And Tim, that brings us to our final giveaway. You know what that final giveaway is?
What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
We are, courtesy of Film Movement, giving away 3 annual subscriptions, each valued at $100, for Film Movement.
Which is just an extraordinary value. But Film Movement, because we made the move from Criterion to Film Movement for a reason.
Yeah, and Film Movement it's a great company. So we're going to give away 3 annual subscriptions, and all you need to do is send us that email to godsdigigods.com, name and address in the body of the email, and put Movement, MOVEMENT. Don't spell it weird or anything. Just put Movement in the subject line, and by the Monday after Thanksgiving, we will pick 3 very, very lucky people to be recipients of a complete annual subscription to Film Movement. Yeah. It's great. You're just it's going to blow your mind. It's going to be the best thing ever. It's like a movie of the month club, film festival, film school in a box every month. It's great. Yeah. And there it is. So that's it. So here are our giveaways, just so you can tabulate. We're giving away just send us the email with Movement in the subject line. That's for the 3 annual subscriptions to Film Movement. If you put Deadly in the subject line, you're going to be in the running for one of the 3 copies of The Villainous. If you put Murder in the line, you're going to be on the queue for the Agatha Christie stuff, the volumes 1 and 2, and Murder on the Orient Express from Acorn. If you put Tonight in the subject line, you're going to be on the in the queue for the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, Johnny and Friends, the complete collection. If you put red in the subject line, you will be entered to win the Red Skelton Hour in Color Deluxe Collection. If you put CMA in the subject line, you will be in the running to win CMA Awards Live Greatest Moments to 1968 to 2015. If you put Hope in the subject line, you're in the running for Thanks for the Memories, the Bob Hope Specials Deluxe Collection. And if you put Scott in the subject line, you will be in the running for Overdrive on Blu-ray from Paramount, starring Scott Eastwood, real Fast and the Furious kind of action film. And that's it. So we are done. That is our holiday show. Tim, do you have any final well wishes for the folks?
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa. What's the one?
Diwali?
From Diwali.
Yeah.
Festivus. I was trying to think of the
Festivus.
one from Seinfeld.
There's that
Festivus for the rest of us.
And we are now going to go out with a track by Charles Billingsley from his new album, It's Christmas Time Again.
Old Mr. Kringle is soon gonna jingle the bells that'll tingle all your troubles away. Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag, 'cause Christmas is coming again. He's got a sleigh full, it's not gonna stay full. He's got stuff to drop at every stop of the way. Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag, 'cause Christmas is coming again. He'll be here with the answer to the prayers that you made through the year. You'll get yours if you've done everything you should. Extra special good, he'll make this December the one you'll remember, the best and the merriest you ever did have. Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag, 'cause Christmas is here again. Soon gonna jingle all the bells that'll tingle all your troubles away. Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag. Christmas is here again. He's got a sleigh full, it's not gonna stay full. He's got stuff to drop at every stop of the way. Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag, 'cause Christmas is coming again. He'll be here with the answer to the prayers that you made through the year. You'll get yours if you've done everything you should. Extra special good, he'll make this December the one you'll remember, the best and the merriest you ever did have. Everybody's waiting for him, they're all congregating